What's up, guys? Welcome back to the IBENDEOBE Podcast, where we dive deep into the in-body experience, the near-death experience, and the out-of-body experience. Today, we have with us a special guest, as me, him, and Bam have all been working very closely together for quite some time now. We have Corey Brandon. So welcome, Corey.
Going on, man? How you guys doing?
We're
Great.
good. We're good. How are you, man?
Man, I can't complain, man. So happy to be here. Happy to still be a part of the experience. But soon, hopefully, we'll get to all go back home. So enjoying the experience, but not, hey, I enjoy the other
Yeah,
better. Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you, man. Well, welcome. And for today's conversation, as I feel a lot of people probably have seen your interviews on Darius's YouTube channel and things like
Mhm.
that. So I
Mhm.
think it'd be a good thing if for people to get to know you a little better, if we dive into who was Corey before he had an out of body experience, before he ever even knew that he could access the other side.
Yeah. Great, valid question. We all have a past. All of us have a story. Um, Mine is very similar to probably a lot of the people who are listening. Uh, Simple kid, grew up in a I wouldn't say the worst conditions, but definitely not the best. Grew up with, did have, both my parents at home with me. A father in the house, but not, interestingly enough, absentee, but still in the house, if that makes sense. Living in the house, but absentee at the same time. Mother, great woman, loved her kids, taught us a lot. Um, didn't have a whole lot financially, financial wise, didn't come from a wealthy background or anything like that. Mostly, just making ends meet like most people are doing nowadays. So, um, but very come from a very religious background. Now, this is one of the crazy things about my upbringing is that it's super religious. Like when I say super religious, I'm talking about um growing up in a situation where women weren't allowed to wear pants type stuff, that type of religion, like
So very
holiness
strict.
church,
Yeah.
southern holiness. If you don't love the Lord, you automatically going to hell. If you don't believe everything you've been told in church, hell awaits. It's basically hell, fire, brimstone type of church upbringing, which is interesting because I probably got in more trouble in the church than I did outside of the church. And it's crazy because it's like whenever you try to force somebody into a box, it feels like you're almost setting them up to
Want to
go
break
outside of
out.
that box, right? So grew up in a very religious household. Now I will say the religion, and I should call it my um, belief systems, I should say, setting up these certain belief systems. It did help me. It brought me on the road I am today, like being coming from church, believing in a one God being that controls all things. And if I didn't start there, I never would have had the foundation to search elsewhere, if that makes sense. Like I never would have thought to leave that if I hadn't experienced that. So experienced a real religious background. Uh, you know, Interestingly enough, a lot of it, what it, my parents loved their children. I don't think they loved each other. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
They love their
Yeah.
children, or at least my mom, she loved her children. I don't know if her and my dad actually shared the same love she shared for us. So it was a lot of turmoil in the household, a lot of, just a lot of lower vibrational energy. Just as the best way I can explain it. A lot of lower frequency energy, type energy, and you sweep it under the rug with religion. So if we just love the Lord, everything will be all right, even though we raising hell at home. So kind of one of those type of
Yeah.
situations. Grew up, ran as far away from my house as I possibly could, went to college, graduated, came home, got married, dug deeper into the religion stuff, like where I was actually working in the church and like a usher and all this stuff. And then life hit. I got divorced. I said, yeah, something ain't right with the whole church vibe. I'm out. And I moved from where I was living at the time. I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And best time of my life. I'm not even going to lie to you. If you're a young man and you're in the streets in the early 2000s, Atlanta was the best place to be. So I had a great time. Had a lot of great experiences. I chalk it up to experiences. So I lived in Atlanta, then lived in Dallas, moved back to Atlanta. And this is where I guess my story starts to fade into where I am now. My mother passed away in 2011. So that was big for me. She had cancer. She passed away. She had been battling it for some years, went into remission, came back 4 times stronger, and she just couldn't overcome. And I was there when she passed. So like she waited in the hospital. I was in Dallas. I get a phone call. Hey, she not going to make it. Come home. I hop on the next flight. I get there. She waited long enough for me to see her. And I was the one that actually made the call for her to transition.
Wow.
Probably one of, now when I look back on it, knowing what I know now, it's not the same feeling. Obviously, at the time, I didn't know what I know now, so it was a lot more harder to overcome that experience or whatever. Fast forward, that kind of set me off on a path of kind of figuring out what happened to my mom. Like, what, I started kind of digging into what happens to people when they die, basically.
Yeah.
Then my best friend passed, and that's the one I did the video with. I actually saw him on the other side. He passed, and that was totally, we didn't see that coming. That was one of the ones where if you have a close friend that passed, and not only the sadness of your friend passing, but also you start dealing with your own mortality at that point. You start saying like, wait, me and him the same age, and if he gone, like how much longer am I here, right? So that's when I really started digging. So now we really getting into the meat and potatoes of how I got here. Once he passed, coupled with my mother's passing, I really just started digging. So now I'm watching indie videos on YouTube because I really just want to know, like, now, because I just never believed the story we were told in church. I never believed that what you're telling me is that I get 80 years at the most. If I'm lucky, I get 80, 90 years to live. And that little bit of time is going to determine my eternity for my soul. I was like, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, what soul isn't out here doing, what person isn't out here doing something, right? You know what I mean? Who's perfect? It can't be nobody perfect. And so, and then it's like, well, you got to believe in Jesus. Okay, great. What about the millions and millions of people who don't? Are you telling me they all got to face eternal damnation from a God who created all of us and knew that these people wouldn't believe in Jesus? Like, it just didn't start adding up. So I started watching these NDE videos. And I got through probably about, I'll say 20 of them, 30 of them. And then I came across Darius. He was on the exact same channel. And when he came on, the first thing he said was, I didn't experience an NDE. I practiced out-of-body experiences. And I started listening to what he was saying. And everything he was saying was lining up with the things that the NDE people had experienced. Then he dropped the bomb where he in that same video, he was like, yeah, I teach people to act the process of how to come out of their body, blah, 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 whatever. And when he said that to me, when he said that piece, it's like he was speaking to me. And I said, okay, bet. I immediately paid the $200 for like the first part of his program.
Yeah.
And then I started practicing. And then I had my first experience. And then the next day I bought the other part of it. And I said,
it was on from there. It was on from there. Yeah.
It's on from there.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great, man. So growing up in religion, I mean, that's a tough stronghold, man. Like,
yeah.
Well, you got to follow a certain path.
Yeah.
So that's amazing that, you were able to transition from that to the space that you were in. And you mentioned your mom passing and you being the one to pull the plug on that.
Yeah.
And I had a similar experience. My mom passed just a couple years ago. I'm in there before I knew any of this, and I had to be the one to pull the plug, and it hits you hard at that time.
Yeah.
And it led me down a similar path as you. So when somebody that you love leaves, you want to start finding out answers.
Because it isn't real until it hits home, if it makes sense. Like all the stuff that you teach in church, don't heaven, hell, this, that, and the third, it don't hit home until you got to experience somebody actually transitioning to that reality that you've been taught, or that false reality that you've been taught. So, and I say false. I don't want to offend anyone who believes in Christianity. I'm not here, and I personally believe that if that's what you believe in, cool, because you will have your experience based on those beliefs, and even once you transition, your experience will have something shaped around those beliefs. This is why, if anyone watched my first video with Darius, I told him, I said, I don't believe hell exists, but it does if you believe it does, if that makes sense. You cannot, nothing
temporarily,
can trap the soul.
Temporarily.
Exactly. Temporarily, you will experience that because that's the faith, that's the system of control that you built up in yourself. So once I understood that concept of it, and it just changed my life. But like I said, having that loved one, that person you really feel like should be in heaven, and not knowing if they really are in heaven. So you're like, hey, well, where's my people at? Like, what's happening? And so, like I said, just being able to experience it in my own out-of-body state, now I'm like, okay, I know what's up. Like, I know where people are and what people are doing. So,
and that's something that I relate to a lot. Growing up in a very Christian family, and still are. It's something that it's part of almost the American culture. It's like that's the main religion in the U.S. For those who live in the U.S. But I learned something through that, like you say, that's what got us to spirituality, to realize that there's more than just the physical aspect of things. And then what I learned so far, thus far with traveling and just pure observation, is that belief system is good for a time, for a time where you believe serves you. But then there's a point in life where your belief systems took you to where you needed to be. And then the next stage is to challenge those beliefs and see how you can grow from them. It's not that they're not useful. They were useful for a time, but now your understanding outgrew them. So it's time to open to, because a lot of what's taught in religion has its foundations in truth, but everything in this construct goes through a distortion process to move you. So how are you going to tell the best lie? You're going to put it in a lot of truth, and vice versa. So for everybody listening, we're not just taking shots at any belief system. It's just that we learned that there are just deeper knowings and truths to what's existing within this realm.
And two, when you understand a lot of the truth in religion comes from people who have had
the other side
out-of-body experiences that we've had. So when you hear the revelations, this is John the Revelator having an OBE and being presented with information, and then he writes it in a book. But then when you find out, so I'll tell you too, the before I started the OBE experience, I went down a couple of different roads. So I kind of jumped over some things, and I don't want to carry on too much, but I kind of went from religion to learning about the Hebrew Israelites through a friend. And I was like, oh, okay, so we're supposed to follow these laws and this and that and other. Then my friend who brought me into that told me, because he left that whole thing. And he told me, he said, I'm glad you're on this path, similar to what I'm on. The next thing that you discover is going to change everything. And then you're going to come out of all these religions. And at the time, I didn't know what he meant.
Like,
and
wow.
So he told me this. And when I say he told me this, and he disappeared from my life for about 2 years, I didn't see this guy again for 2 years. And what I found out in 2 years is that most of this stuff that was written is Sumerian text, and God in the Bible isn't even a spiritual being. It's an actual being that came here and told the people that were here, I'm God. Like, and then you start understanding that. So, and then me being who I am, at the time I hadn't had the experiences, so I went straight to Darius. I said, hey, is this Anunnaki stuff real? Like, is that real? Is that like, was that a real period in time? Did that really happen like that? He said, it absolutely did. And when he told me that, I said, okay, bet. Now I'm ready to rock. Now I'm ready to have these OBEs. I'm ready to really get it popping, because I want to know. Like, I've always been an inquisitive child. As a child, I was inquisitive. I always ask questions. My mother, if she was alive today, she would tell you right now, Corey's favorite question is why? Because I'm always asking, well, why? Well, why does he do that? Why does he do that? Why do we do this? Like, why? I always want to know. I've always been inquisitive. And I'll never forget my aunt told me when I was 16, she said, religion, and this is a defining moment. You know how you had those defining moments in your life where somebody said something to you and it sticks with you forever? Yep. So my aunt tells me at like 16 or something, we having a conversation. She said, religion will never be enough for you. And I was like, what do you mean? She said, you ask too many questions. And the people in religion, you're supposed to be, they don't want shut you up and follow. Questions. Yeah. Right. They don't want you to ask questions. They just want you to listen and do. And at the time, I didn't understand, because I'm 16. You know, I grew up in a religious background. I don't know what I don't know. And that hit me later on down the line when she told me that. But again, once I started learning that a lot of these religions, and that's not just Christianity, I'm talking about all of them. Every single one of them is built on a story that's 6,000 years older than the book that everybody's following. Like,
and one thing that I've learned about religion since getting into the out-of-body state is that all religions have a piece of the puzzle, but none of them have the whole story. Like the Bible is great for the creation story, right? But there's also a lot of distortions in it to put fear in people. Hinduism has parts of reincarnation in it, but that's also riddled with lies and forced reincarnation. Buddhists practice basically how if you end up all desires, you end all suffering. Like all of those aspects are true, but they also have lies within them. And the OBE state kind of puts it all together. Well,
it's the great separator. It separates truth from fiction, because when you're on the other side, nobody can lie to you. Nobody can lie to you. Nobody can hurt you. We all know this. Like, nothing can harm you unless you choose to believe so. Nobody can lie to you unless you believe they can lie to you. So once you're on that side, it's like you looking around, you're like, wait, I can fly. Like, wait, what? Wait, what? I can teleport. I can be in this place and that place and all this stuff. Wait, I thought I was supposed to go to heaven or hell and be confined to a place for eternity. And then I get on the other side. I realize I can walk through a wall if I want. I can definitely fly through a ceiling because I've done it. So it's like you start understanding. And then when you get to the understanding that God is an impersonal energy that permeates everything, meaning you're a fractal of God, I'm a fractal of God. This is why in the Bible, which people conveniently skip over in Psalms, it says, ye are gods. Ye are gods. Yeah. And Jesus even came back and doubled down on it in the New Testament, said, doesn't your scriptures say that ye are gods? Well, that's because Jesus understood, and most people haven't read the Aquarian gospel of Jesus Christ. So they don't know that Jesus went to Tibet and went to India.
And
went
studied
to
all
places
this.
And learned the things that you seeing for him in the Bible. He learned it from all these places. Reiki healing. He learned that there. Like,
he learned it all.
He tapped into his higher self by experiencing all these places, right? So, and learning from all these ascended
And
masters.
when you look back at, after you have an out of body experience and you see the bigger picture and you look back at all these religious texts, it all makes sense. It all clicks, and you can now read between the lines. But the way that it's taught to you here is where the distortions come into play.
Right. Well, I feel like there's nothing wrong with having a belief system until your belief system roots you in fear. And that's the problem with religion. No, you shouldn't be in fear of anything. You shouldn't fear death. You shouldn't fear God. You shouldn't fear anything, because nothing can harm your soul unless you believe it to be so. Now, the body can waste away, but this is just an avatar anyway. I tell people all the time, we walking around in Iron Man suits. Like, that's it. That's what we're doing. We're Tony.
I always say,
Starks. The suit is the thing we walk around in all day.
Well said, man. I always say that the best belief system is any belief system that empowers you.
Yes.
Because that's the ultimate truth. The underlying truth is that we are infinite creators, infinite beings, and we are the creators of our reality. So I always say that any belief system that puts you in a place of power rather than a place of fear, go with it. And if that leads you to the out-of-body state, that's the ultimate truth.
Perfect. Yeah.
So why don't you tell us? Well, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll pause real quick because I had this set up incorrect. But anyways, so can you tell us a little bit, about how do you, a little bit about your first experience, so that those who haven't heard it can.
So I will say this before I start: the greatest thing about having these experiences is that they're 100% real, so you never forget them. It's not a dream where you can have a dream and you can forget it. It's so physical, it's so real, you'll never forget it when you have your first one. So when I broke my cherry on my first OB experience, I have been trying to do the method for like 6 weeks, no success, and most of it because I was in fear. I'm like worried I'm gonna see a being or something gonna kill me or snatch my soul and I'll never get back to my body. Just the normal stuff that you would have fear of coming from the background I come from, right? The first experience, I've been trying for about 6 weeks to do it the Ada method. And I'm talking about every other night. Like, I'm not taking no rest or nothing. And I'm getting frustrated at this point because it's not happening. I'm like, is this real? Did I just, pay $200? Did I get finessed? Because I'm a real one. Like, I'm a real when I come from real stuff. So the first thing I'm thinking, like, did I get finessed out of my little $200? Bro, I'm tripping. Like, right? So, and this is why people, when I talk to people, they can relate to what I'm telling them, is because I know what it feels. I know real stuff. So you don't want to be finessed. Right. Yeah. Did I just get finessed on 200? Like, what happened? I'm about to hit up Darius and be like, hey, bro, I did not know that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the way I'm thinking. Because I come from that type of thing. And so I've been trying, no success, and I'm getting frustrated. So at this point, me and my wife have a conversation, and I said it in the video. She says, Corey, you're not going to be able to have a higher frequency type of experience if you stressed and frustrated about not having the experience. You're keeping yourself down there and you're not going to have the experience. So it was just one of them things. She said in Pat, now listen, my wife ain't into OBE nothing. She's too scared. She ain't going to even try it because she see a being, it's going to mess her up for life. She might not ever be able to sleep again. So, that's just how much fear she got built up in her. But when she said that to me, that was the words that I needed to hear, right? So I was like, I'm going to relax. And I'll never forget, it was 1 hour relax. I tried. I fell asleep. And when I opened my
you almost
eyes,
have to let go. You almost have to let go.
You got to let go. It's going to be what it's going to be. What I learned to do was just enjoy the experience of putting your body in sleep paralysis, because it actually feels kind of good. Like when you start numbing and you can feel your soul kind of shifting and stuff, it feels kind of euphoric almost. So I just kind of was like, well, I'm gonna just enjoy this. We'll see what happens. I fell asleep, and when my eyes opened, I was outside in my front yard. And I know when I say in my front yard, I'm looking around. I'm like, why am I outside? It's 6 a.m. I'm outside. And so
because you don't know. You don't know when you first leave. You don't know.
Listen,
so when
I didn't even know what to expect.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. I'd never done it. So let me not say that I've never done it before. I'd never willingly done it before. Let's just say that, because for everybody listening, every night you go to sleep, your soul is not laying in the bed. Your soul is out of here doing whatever it do. Yeah. And I'll tell you a little, me and you talked about that, and we'll talk about that later, about how I knew that confirmation of that. But with that being said, I never experienced this before. So I'm outside and I look down, and when I look down, I notice I'm hovering off above the ground. Like the ground is my feet are very not on the ground, right? I'm hovering probably 2 feet in the air. And my car is in the driveway. I'm in real time. The only difference was it was so bright. Like it was bright like it was 1 o'clock. And at the time I was living in Florida. So at 6 a.m. in Florida, it's not bright outside. It's still, coming up, sun's still coming up, whatever. But when I say bright like it's
the brightest daylight.
When I say bright, like so bright that if
you can't even comprehend it.
Huh?
Yeah, I said we can't even comprehend it because we have.
The only way I can say it is if I would have been in my physical body, I would have been squinting. Like I would have been like this because that's how bright it was. But I wasn't squinting, which threw me off. So I'm like, what? So anyway, I'm floating down the street. Like, you guys ever seen a Spike Lee movie? Where in the movie where the guys be doing like this in the Spike Lee movie, just going forward? Yeah, that's how I was doing down the street. And I turned around and I'm now floating backwards and I'm watching houses get smaller and smaller and smaller. And so I look up and I'm trying to find the sun because it's so bright. So I'm trying to find the sun. Like
where's this light coming from?
Where is this light coming from? Exactly.
So
I look up and there's no sun. Like no sun. There's no ball in the sky. There's no nothing. It's just bright sky, white light everywhere. And I literally said, this is how I knew, like, all of that righteousness stuff really ain't real. There's no morality on the other side. Not if you can cuss. Because I looked up and I said, fuck. I literally looked up and my words was, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And as soon
as
you
don't change,
I was back in my body. As soon as I said I was back in my body. And this was my confirmation. My wife was in the bathroom, I guess in the bathroom this whole time. Because when she came out, she said, are you okay? And I was like, what you mean, am I okay? She said, you took this breath that I've never heard you take. Like you made a sound in your sleep I never heard you make. It sounded like you was coming up for air, like you was coming up for air.
Because you was gone and then you came back.
Yeah. So when you're in sleep paralysis, you go down to a level so low that your heart rate is low. It's almost like you're dead. Yep. Like it's almost like you're physically dead.
And then when your soul leaves your body, your body dips down even lower. Because at that point, there's no life inside of you. You're out.
You're gone. You're gone.
Yeah, you're out.
The life force that keeps us moving, keep us doing this podcast and everything else we're doing, leaves. And that left. So when it came back, my wife's like, you okay? And I said, what are you talking about? And she tells me, I'm breathing. I've never heard you make that sound before. And in that moment, I said, oh, it happened. Oh shoot! I was out of my body, and I was so excited. Like, bro, I think I called Darius the next day. I'm like, hey, I need to do my testimonial, bro. I need to do this now, so I don't forget nothing. I want to do every detail. I want to talk about it. And he set it up to do it. But when I tell you, it was physical. It was real. It was like everything in my front yard and in my neighborhood, in my street, was exactly the same when I walked out my house that later on that day. It's the exact same.
So you were in base reality.
I was in
dimensional space.
Realm 1, heaven 1, earth.
Yep.
But there was some difference as far as the coloring. It was kind of brighter and stuff like that.
So a lot of people here, Corey, they haven't had the chance to have an out-of-body experience yet. And when you've had a bunch of them, it's kind of hard. But as we're talking about your first experience, what are some of the things that you realized doing your first one? Like when you said, what the fuck, you realize like your thought process does not change.
You're the same person. Like who you are in your flesh is who you are in general. And you've been here, you've played many roles here in this realm and other realms. You played many roles, and all them roles you've played, you've been yourself. You've been you. You may have been a woman, you may have been white, you may have been black, you may have been a man, you may have been this, you may have been that, but you were still you fundamentally.
Don't change.
And you don't change.
You know, the I think the cool part about that concept is that why are we and I have another comment about your experience. Let me go there first, right?
Yeah.
That light, you know, a lot of you know, when I had a being coming to get me, and he wears a robe, a dark robe, like a black robe, right? And when he was coming towards me, I got a little shook, but then he came back and I asked him, like, why you come like that? You know what I mean? I'm like, why you gotta come with that black robe? You know what I mean? I'm like, and
like they wear white a little bit.
Yeah, but he explained to me. He told me, remember when you came out? Because when I came out my first time, that's exactly what I experienced. It was so bright, and it was a sky. You know, it wasn't like a bright light that blinded me. No, it was just a very bright day. And he told me, you know, that's your own light, your own light it lights everything up. And he said, if I take my robe off, a whole world would know that I was here. So, you know, that's your own light. You know, that's your own light. And that's your own light, and that's that shows what you're creating.
How bright you are.
Yeah.
How magnificent of a being you are. Yeah.
You're God. Like this, and I know that sounds crazy to say that, but I don't say that from an egotistical standpoint that I think I'm better. We're all God. You're God. Yeah. This person, the homeless person you meet on the street is God in the flesh, experiencing homelessness and that experience, right?
The way I like to put it is, when you think of God, who do you think of? You think of the person that created this whole universe, right?
Right.
Like that's what we taught of, the person that created the universe.
Yeah.
But as we know, souls, just like you and I,
are the creators of the universe, so, right?
By definition, we are God.
We are God.
By definition.
And you can look at that when you look at your life, right? If you know, and this is something that seldom people don't do it often. But you know, and somebody on the comments put in self-empowerment, right? Until you are able to see where you are at, you can, you know, it's very hard to move forward if you don't know the ground you stand on. Right. But if you're very true to yourself, you can say, hey, everything that I did brought me here. And what is that? That is your own creation. That is your own creation. So like I always say this, but Earth is just like another mirror of our existence. It's just, and it has ways to tell you. If you pay attention, you'll know everything you've done, every decision you made brought you to be watching this interview, and it brought us to put this together, you know, and it brought everything, every step. So we in fact created everything that's in front of us.
Yep.
And when go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I get coming from my background, I get the difficulty in understanding that. So that's why I don't judge. I don't get mad at people who don't understand it or maybe think that I'm crazy. Me and you were talking about this too. I don't care if people think I'm for real or not. I don't care. I'm not here to convince anyone.
Because you know.
Because I know what I know. It's not somebody taught it to me or I read it in a book. No, I know what I know. So there's nothing anyone can tell me that can make me believe otherwise of what I experienced.
Yeah. And so personal, nothing trumps personal experience. Nothing. And especially, you know, when it's so real that, you know, the thing with the OB is that it's so vivid. And so, and it's just,
and you know the difference. You know the difference between that and dreaming.
You do.
And it changes you.
Oh,
you know, anyone.
So in OBE state, I just want to touch on what Corey said, because a lot of people here have not had an out of body experience. And we have 3 people here who all have had one, right? The out of body experience is more real than here. And like Corey said, you remember more than like a dream. Every one of my experiences, I can remember just better than I can remember what I did last Tuesday. I don't remember what I was doing last Tuesday, but I can remember an OBE I had 3 months ago, every detail, touching. It's so real. It's as soon as you leave your body, it's an instant knowing that this is where we come from. This is home. This is who we are.
Yep.
You know, would you guys agree? Would you agree, Bam?
Yeah. And but I want to go back to God, right? I want to go back to God because we, you know, there. I don't want us to because we're here, right? And you know, it's been so deep in our psyche that there is a God that you pray upon and help you. You know, a lot of people rely on that. You know what I mean? Rely on that help. And I just want to tell you, whoever you are that rely on that help, don't stop relying on that help, because though you are a creator, there is also levels to creation. And there are beings that have a better understanding of the nature of reality right now that are really caring for us as a collective. So though we say we are God, is because we know our identity that is attached to that, which is spirit, which is what gives life to everything, and nothing is separate from that. But there are levels of creation, and there's level of understanding. So if you feel that you still, you know, you don't want to let go of that, you know, that vision of a supreme God, don't. Once you exit, you
will realize that that being that you were looking up to the whole time was you.
It's your own creation.
You were the one that you were reaching out to.
I tell people all the time, just like Darius tells us, regardless of whether you believe us, don't believe us, think something else, or think this, whatever, it does not matter. When you die, you will come into the truth of all things. It doesn't matter what you believe right now. And I agree with you, Bam. If you need that, because ultimately you're manifesting your reality through that. So if you believe in Jesus and that he's the savior of the world and all that, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to manifest a positive experience through believing in that.
Yeah.
But when you close them eyes for the last time, you're going to find out that Jesus is just like you, a soul just like you, a soul. And then this soul is a soul just like you. Paul.
Well, Peter, that's what, you know, I connect with that energy often, with the energy of Yeshua, the Christ. Yeah. And, you know, he had his own identity.
Right.
And anytime that we had that it spoke to me, it told me the same thing. It told me, do what's yours to do. Stop calling so much for help. Straight up. Like I was in this shower right here. And I'm like, God, help me, Jesus. And everything, when I say Jesus, everything that his presence entered and told me, stop asking for what you already have and go do what's yours to do. So you know, when we're talking about the outer body experience, you know, but all of that we are experiencing have mold our life to see the in-body experience different. And if you want to go ahead and give us another experience, that'll be great. But I really want in a little bit to shift how is that experience and all that info that you brought into Earth have improved your life, your relationships, your work, whatever.
We'll get into that. And also let's talk about how we met as well. We could talk about how we met. And where that lines up. I think a good path forward would be, Corey, talk about your experiences and then get into the time when we met.
Here. All right, bet. Again, I just told you about my first experience, and I'm not gonna go through all of them because hey, you can go to my channel and watch the videos. It's too much. But
yeah.
the
His
most
channel's in the
important-
description as well, guys.
Perfect,
Corey's YouTube channel is in the description.
Yeah,
You
and
guys can
I
check
want
that
to
out.
tell y'all, follow, subscribe. As I have these experiences, I'll load them up. I'm not here to be anything special or be a YouTuber. Like, I literally started my channel so that I could have a documentation of my experiences. That's it. And if somebody else can get something from it, all blessings. I'm super excited for you if you get something from it.
And also, guys, for those viewing, we will have a live Q&A for Corey at the end of this as well. So,
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
if you guys have a lot of questions, you know, when we're done, you'll have an opportunity to ask Corey as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love to answer y'all questions. But probably one of my biggest or the most, I would say the most jaw-dropping experiences when I actually left realm 1. So I've actually been to realm 2, which is the galactic realm, or the heaven 2, which is the galactic heaven, which is where you get all your ET races from, your extraterrestrials and all that stuff. They all live in different kingdoms in this other layer. So if you watch my videos, you'll see how I have a diet, like kind of like a picture I found online of the different
it's
layers.
crazy that you presented yours. I see Caesar's in here. What's up, Caesar from Beyond the Frequency?
Check out Caesar Beyond the Frequency. Check him out. It's awesome.
It's crazy that you explain yours in layers, because when I had my first experience, it was presented to me as layers too.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. So it's heavens.
Yeah,
in order for it to be 12 heavens, something has to be on top of the other. As above, so below, and then there has to be things on top of underneath each other. So the NASA, again, I'm not here to fight or argue about what the Earth looks like. If you believe it's round, great. If you believe it's flat, whatever, I don't care. I'm just telling you what I experienced. This plane is flat, and every heaven above it is another plane of existence above it. So I remember coming out of my body one night. I'm doing the method, the ADA method, and I literally come out of my body and I'm standing up at the end of my bed. I'm on the ground. I'm standing on my floor, and I turn around, see myself sleep, and I'm like, okay. And I don't pay much attention to it because I'm like, yo, I got to get out of here. I don't, like, when I say I see myself sleep, it's kind of out the corner of my eye. I'm not turning around looking because I feel like if I look, I'm going to get sucked back in. So I kind of look in corner of eyes like, all right, bet I'm out. And I said, get me out of here. And I did like this and stuck my hands in the sky because the first thing I thought about was Superman. And I flew through my ceiling. And the next thing I knew, I was in like the stratosphere, like above Earth. I could see Earth below. And I was looking up and there were stars everywhere, but they were fixed. So they weren't moving around. They're fixed. And now that I know what I know, we have a firmament above. The stars are fixed in the firmament. And they're not balls of gas and all this other stuff. They're actually portals or gates to other heavens, realms, kingdoms, you name it.
Every star, planet, everything in the sky, if you go through it out of your body, it points you right back to a specific space and time here. And by space and time here, I mean, it could be at a different realm, a different time period, anything. But everything you see in the sky correlates to a specific space and time here.
Space and time period. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm flying. I see a star, but it looks as big as the moon. But when I'm looking at it, I know it's not the moon. So I said, I literally said in my mind, that's a portal. Let me go. And I flew into it. Like it was just white light, and flew right into it. And the next thing I know, I'm in a stratosphere type area again, but I'm looking around and it's more stars and more, and it's stuff stuff everywhere. And 4 beings came to me, like if I'm like came to my face like that. And when I looked at them, I said, oh my God, y'all are Lyrans. And if you know anything about Sumerian texts, Lyrans are the lion people with heads like lions or cats and bodies like humans. But that shit freaked me out so bad because that's the first time I seen a being. I was like, move, because
like I don't want nothing to do with y'all. Get out my way.
Can't nobody stop you. Can't nobody control you. So when I saw them, I'm like, are they here to stop me? Are they here to move me out the way or put me or do something to me? I said, move. And I did my hands like this, move. And they just spread apart and let me keep flying. And so I flew up, and then I went through another star, and that put me in a time period. So I don't know what this time was or where I was. It was kind of like a industrial building. It felt, I wasn't sure if it was a prison or what it was, but I was walking in with a group of people, looked like families going to visit or doing a tour. I don't know what it was, but I walked in, and that's when I woke up. But the biggest part of that was meeting those 4 beings, because like I said, that's the first time I ever met beings.
And what did that teach you? So the first time you see a being, it scares you. It shocks you. I mean, you can do all the preparation you want. I can show you a picture like, hey, you might see this. But when you physically see it,
I'll say this. It didn't scare me. It just kind of startled me, because I just wanted to make sure they wasn't trying to stop me. It didn't scare me so much, because when they were coming, I saw them coming. I didn't run. I just stood there, and I was like, okay. And when they came, I thought they were trying to like keep me from going to wherever I wanted to go. And so I just told them to move. But after talking to Darius and telling him about my experience, he told me you should have stopped and talked to him. And I was like, dang. And I was pissed, because he said they probably could have told you something about another life you lived as one of them. Because you got to remember, aliens.
That's how I found out.
Grays or whatever. All those are souls playing different parts in the construct. That's it. They are souls. If you see an ET, that ET is just another soul playing another part in the greater construct. So
there's 111 people in here.
That's great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. That's a great segue, because there's a question out here, and I know we're gonna get to them in a minute, but
go ahead.
It's a phenomenal segue to answer that question. The Lyrians actually were the first race that got attacked. Let's put it like that. There's a question by Stanford Truth that said, can you speak of spiritual battle? We're currently knocking around blindfolded, not knowing. Also, can we do anything to stop the planes spraying us? Thank you, all that stuff. Yes, my friend. We are currently blinded as a whole, not the people who are all of us to a degree, right? Let's put it like that, because I'm not holier or mightier than thou. But when you come into earth, right, there is a certain level of forgetfulness, and that's in the design of this.
It's the agreement.
It's part of the design, and though there's systems of control that want to stay in control, they're playing their part too. Like Corey's saying right now, just because they feel that they're strong right now, they feel that they have, power and control over our soul, doesn't mean that they do. When you come to earth, part of the agreement was to remember and use your power to, because what happened when you create something, you're not only changing your own experience, but you're changing, because you're part of the whole, you change the whole dynamics. That's why you're important in this life. That's why your story needs to be heard. His story needs to be heard. And the way we do that is with our day-to-day lives, right? I'm very, because I don't see, like, you put another comment, the same guy stand for truth. Can humans be taken over? There seem to be more evil among us than normal. I don't see that evil anymore. I don't see it in people anymore, right? I don't see it in people anymore, because I know that we're all playing a part. But
So can I tell you why? And I don't mean to cut you off, but I think this is important to touch on this. It's very important to understand that duality, morality, all of this good, bad, it only exists here.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as bad outside.
The only place.
This is the only place duality exists.
The only place.
And a very important thing to understand, so you won't be judgmental, is that you've lived multiple times in this experience, and you haven't always been the good guy. You haven't always been the good guy. You don't know that yet, but you could have been the bad guy. You could have been the murderer, the this, the that. And because the purpose isn't to be a good guy and go to heaven or be a bad guy and go to hell.
It's to experience, to grow the collective as to what it's like from every perspective.
We are God living as men so that we can experience what it means to live in this construct, because God can't experience that as us in the flesh suits unless he comes into the flesh suit. So it's important to, I don't judge people. I realize, like, hey, everybody's just playing their part, even if it's totally out of love, which Darius talks about a lot. People are just going so far out of love that, but at the same time, it ain't nothing for them to come back into love. Will they have to make atonements for the things that their flesh suit did on earth? Sure, that's what prison is for. That's what this is for. That for whatever. But as a soul, you are perfection. It takes me back to a Bible verse when they say, it was a Bible verse. I'm not sure where it's at, but God said, I have created good and evil. Good and evil, I have created them both. Well, that's because whoever wrote that understood that you are all of those things here in your flesh suit. It's just what you
in realm one
participate in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
in realm one, and that let's make that
control you. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's make that distinction too, because there is, these beings that are like that that like to impose, and they have been they have been put on realm one. They don't have that
realm two still has some of that.
One and two.
Realm two,
the galactic.
Well,
as you go higher,
the higher the frequency, the higher the ascension. People are just.
I will tell you guys from personal experience, the moment you leave realm one, though, that feeling of fear or anything like goes out the way. Now it's anytime I'm in my soul, I have no fear. I'm limitless. But for sure, once you leave realm one, the heaviness, the dense feeling of this place, it's gone.
Yeah.
And so all of those evil things and things that you guys talk about, it's only here.
Yeah.
And
it's
you can leave your body and get out.
Yeah.
But
if you really
it has its purpose. It has its purpose because when in creation, you need both opposites to create energy. So when you come to Earth, you're coming. Okay, listen. When you come to Earth, you come to learn energy management, because another aspect of you is benefiting from that energy management that you're learning. So it's the hardest. I see Irene asking why God don't delete this realm, because it still has its purpose. But guess what? Not for long.
Yeah. So I'll say God isn't deleting the realm because we are the God of the realm. So we not deleting ourselves. Like, no. We're here to have we are here for the experience, good or bad. Like, if you homeless and you've been on the street, you were supposed to come down. You agreed before you ever born. You agreed to come here and have that experience. Yeah, like you knew you were going to do that. And people would say, well, why would you ever do that? Because in another life you was rich. Now you want to experience what it's like to be poor. Like, this is about gaining experiences. And there's so point. Oh, I was gonna say, to your point, Bam, everything, and Darius says it all the time, everything that has been experienced in this realm, or the construct as itself, has already been experienced. So we don't borrow
by one soul or another.
But let me make the distinction that what happened is that we create people. Please understand this. You are a created being on Earth and outside of Earth. So what's happening is this place been hijacked, and they're using your creative power to keep it looping.
Your
so
that's why we have to break our minds free.
This is why we have this podcast, my people. It's so that you realize that you yourself stop the loop. Once that stops in your mind, it stops. And then it stops in Corey's mind. It stops in Andre's mind. It stops in my mind. And once we gain momentum, the level of creation changes, the roots change, and whoever want to stay here creating in their loop, they could do that. But once there's another
I'm gone. I ain't coming back yet. I'm done.
Yeah, me and Corey, we was talking the other day. Corey was like, yo, bro, this is my last.
I won't be back. I won't be back.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
None of us
to add to that, Bam, let me simplify for the people listening. Learn how to do out-of-body experiences. Do not, and I tell people all the time, do not shit on what I'm telling you, but also don't depend on what I'm telling you. Go see it.
Find out for yourself.
Because once you see it for yourself, nobody can take it from you. So if you're worried about, how the evil people in the world are controlling us, get outside your body so you can understand the whole purpose of them, and that their time is short, and that there's no punishment for them. Understand, there is no eternal punishment. It just ain't. It don't exist.
There's no punishment, but there is, there is another law that we came to learn on earth and look at nature is reciprocity. Everything that you put out there, it's a creation that comes back to you because you're the creator of your experience. So if you put yourself but somebody asked here, is human the only ones in forgetfulness? No, we know more than but there's other beings that are way far off than us that have no clue who they are, because they move away from unconditional love by their own doing. So move towards unconditional love, so that somebody's asking here, when does the loop stop? When you get an unconditional love.
The loop stops when you break free. When your mind, the loop is created in your mind. We are creator beings. We are constantly creating our reality. So once you shift your mindset and you break free out of your own box, you break free of the loop.
Now let me add a little piece to that for that person who wrote that. It isn't just one day you say I'm out of the loop. No, it takes constant doing. And this is what when you were in the shower, it said it told you to do what you know you're here to do. Doing. It's not a one-time thing and like, if I just think. Because first of all, most people don't even understand how manifestation works. They think it's just, I think about stuff and it happens. Well, that's part of it. If manifestation is the people getting to a destination, the car is your emotions. So your emotions are the driver of your manifestation. Preach. So if you, and I found this out in my out-of-body state. So if you think a thing, your emotions towards that thing charge it to come into being. So prime example, if I want to be, I want to be a more loving person. In my mind, I'm like, I want to be a more loving person. What are my emotions that I feel when I think about myself as a more loving person? If that's not love, then I'm not going to become a more loving person.
Yeah, you have to put action behind it.
Yeah, and it's not even action. You don't even
and emotion. You got to feel it too. Yeah.
Your feelings have to be. You have to be on the frequency wise. You have to be on the same equivalent of what you want. Emotion
and frequency can best be described as feeling. Emotion.
Energy.
It's an emotion.
Yeah, energy.
On Earth. On Earth, it's an emotion. It's the emotional. It's there to guide you, not to move you. It's there. The GPS is not the wheel. So the way we do it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. So Stand for Truth. Thank you so much for starting this conversation, for pushing, for everybody here. We're working together. What we're doing right now is cooperation. These conversations are not staying within this channel, within your ears. They are moving all of creation in this direction. So thank you. We're not taking shots or anything. We're using this questions so that we move everybody into the same mind frame.
And let me tell you this too, for anybody listening. You have to decide how you want to receive this information. We can't tell you how to receive information or receive this. We can only tell you what our experience has been and what we know based on our experience. If you're hell bent on not receiving this, you won't. And that's what manifestation is. If your emotions are conflicted with the information we give you, you're not going to receive it. But exactly, and you have to get out of your feelings. You have to get out of your fear. You got to get out of your incessant need to be right. A lot of people, they just need to be right all the time. So I believe this my whole life. I know I'm right. And if you don't believe me, then you're wrong. I'm right. You ain't right till you've seen it with your own soul. And then you know what's right. And listen, my dad is one of the most Christian, religious dudes you ever meet. And we had a whole argument. I was telling him, like, listen, you ain't seen the other side yet. I have. I know exactly what's going to happen when you leave. I told him straight out, I said, I know exactly what's going to happen when you leave here. You think you might experience a little bit of heaven or hell, but you're going to have a life review. You're going to have to experience everything you did right and wrong to every person you came in contact with while you were here. You're going to have to do that, which is why Darius always says the only sin, unforgivable sin, is the sin you can't forgive yourself.
Can't forgive yourself.
Because when you have that life review, you're going to be left with a choice of whether you forgive yourself for all the shitty stuff you done to people. And that's up to you. But I tell people all the time, I'm not here to make a believer out of you. That's not what we're here to do. I'm here to open up the conversation, give you my experiences, and hopefully you will go and decide I want to have an experience too, so I can know the truth. That's it. That's the only reason I got into this, y'all. I'm not even gonna hold you, because I wasn't sure what the people told me in these books was right. So this,
you want to find out for yourself.
I need to know it from me. I need to see it. You can't tell me nothing, because everything y'all saying contradicts with something else. So who's the liar? Who's telling the truth? So let's bypass all these middlemen, these book writers, these
and
preachers,
go straight to the source.
And go straight to the source and find out and let me see it myself. And seeing 4 Lyrans, and when I say 4 of them, I know I put a picture of them. They were all white in white uniform, white face, white hair hanging down. All 4 of them came to me, and I knew in that moment they were real beings. I knew it right then.
Wow.
And this speaks to the power of your soul too.
I've never seen one before. So
this speaks to how powerful you are, because you just seen a being compared to a human. In human terms, a Lyran would be so much more powerful than us, right? But you, through your will of your soul, said move. And what happened?
Move. Get out the way.
Yeah.
And they move because they don't have a choice, because they can't harm you. No soul can harm another soul.
It's like when that being came to get me, but he was gonna bring me to the records, and I'll see him, and I'm like, in the name of Jesus, like I'm on my body, and I'll still kick it with this, and this he didn't disappear and ran like they say that. No, he just kept it pushing. You don't want me to interact with you. He kept it pushing.
Yeah, like you don't care.
Cool. My road, and then I'm back in my body, and then he came back. He told me, "Hey, I'm here. Whenever you're ready, I'm gonna take you to where you wanted to go." So, but thank you.
Guys,
this is a great conversation, man. I'm so
guys. Before we get into Corey, your other experiences and how we all met. Well, Bam's talking about meeting beings, and we're talking about all these beings, guys. I spent a lot of time being afraid myself. I was leaving my body, as you guys know, for like 3 months, multiple times a week, leaving my body quite often. And at first I was scared of these beings, but it was not until I said, you know what, I'm here. Whatever happens, happens. Right. And I believe Darius and everything Darius said, that nothing can hurt, harm, or touch a soul. I believe that with all of my might. And the moment I believed that, everything opened up to me. The black hooded beings who we describe as seraphims, they've came to me. They've taken me places out of here, showed me great things. That's where I get a lot of my information from. Every being that I come in contact with is great, and they offer valuable knowledge. I haven't even personally even ran into a negative being, because I don't even emit that energy. That frequency.
Well, you again, on the other side, what you manifest is done instant. Over here, there's a delay. Like in realm, in the construct, there's a delay. So, or in realm 1, there's a delay. So if I'm manifesting something, it may take time for it to manifest in the physical. But on the other side, whatever you think is going to manifest instantly. So in my head, I'm not even thinking about negative beings because I'm not a negative being. So I'm not going to manifest anything negative. Like you're just not, because you're not that. So you're not even on that frequency. Your frequency you own is love and peace and whatever, and that's what you'll experience on that side.
What's keeping these beings like really alive is humanity, honestly, because once humanity shift to unconditional love, they'll come out of their ignorance into our light. That's why I can't continue to tell you how important your role is. Your role is so important in this whole story because they're ignorant. Like I was ignorant to stuff that Darius taught me. I was ignorant to stuff that I learned and on the other side. When I went to Sitio Paco, I was like this, prostrated with my head down in front of this being that was just giving me knowledge. I don't remember.
Think it's a God to worship.
Right there, giving me straight up knowledge. So the more that you become understanding of the true nature of reality, the more all of this other beings will come to out of their ignorance. It's not that here is no good nor evil. It's either knowing your true self or being ignorant of it. So when you become aware of your true self, you're moving out of ignorance into more knowledge, more creative abilities.
Absolutely. And so I'll give you guys a couple more experience I had. I guess the one most dear to my heart is when I saw my friend. That was crazy. Like, and my friend passed, and like this is like my best friend. I put pictures of him in the video so people don't think, oh, he just made up a friend. No, this is literally my best friend. We played basketball in college together. Like we've been friends forever. Like this is like my best friend.
You hooped in college?
Yeah, a little JUCO.
How tall are you? How tall are you?
I'll bust you.
6'2".
6'2"?
Oh, 6'2".
Point guard.
I'm a little point guard.
Yeah, look at Andre. Look at Andre talking trash.
Now listen, don't get carried away. This was a long many moons ago. I don't play no more. Like my knees
me neither.
And maybe on the other side we can get up and create a court and we can go at it. But this side, my knees might be a little too old. Y'all, people don't look at me, they think I'm young. I'm 47 years old. I'm not a young dude. My body ain't the same as what it used to be. But anyway, so he passed, and like I said, that's what kind of started me on my journey. So I've had a mixed bag of OBs. So when I say sometimes I'm able to come out and see myself, a couple times I've come out and seen myself on the bed sleep. Other times I just appeared in places. When I went to the halls of Amenti, I just appeared there. Because I said, take me to the halls of Amenti, take me to the halls of Amenti. And next thing I know, I'm there. When I saw my friend, I just appeared in this desert. And it was like a desert, and it was like a convenience store. And it tripped me out because if you ever been to Atlanta or know anything about Atlanta, the big convenience store is called Quick Trip, QT. So everybody go to the QT to get whatever you need, like something to drink, something to eat, whatever. It felt like a QT, which me and my friend would be there a lot. Like we would go to the store, whatever. So I walk in and the doors slide like this. And as I'm walking, he's just standing right there, right in front. And when I say fully as he was here on earth, like again, he can change his appearance to be anything. On the other side, you don't have to look like you look now. You don't have to. You can look out. You can look like a woman. You can look like a Lyran. You can look like a reptilian. You can look however you want to look because you are in total control. But he was standing before me, and he appeared just as I know him. And I just walked up to him and gave him a hug. Like we didn't even talk. Like I just gave him a hug. Yeah. And when I say it's a hug, the same, if I saw you and hugged you, feel the same way, like a physical being hug. We hugged, and I knew I was in an OB because when I woke up, I had tears running down my face. Like I woke up that way. And so we hugged, we embraced, and he just smiled at me. And it was a smile like, I'm good, man. I'm good on it. I'm good over here. I'm good. And I haven't had any reservations since that happened. Since that experience, I haven't had any reservations because the way he smiled at me, it was like, you ain't got to worry about me, bro. I'm good. Like, I'm happy. I'm in a better place. For the old saying, they're in a better place. Well, really, it is a better place on that side. So when y'all hear me in the group, y'all in the crowd, when y'all hear me say I'm not coming back here, I mean that. I'm not coming back. Like, and when you leave here, you consciously can, because you are the same person here that you are over there, you can consciously say, yeah, I ain't going back, and you never come back here. Yeah. And I'm telling y'all,
I'll say I made that decision last time I was here. I was like, yeah, I'm done with this place. But then I decided to come back this time.
That's the thing. When you come into this,
but realm, this is my last time. This is my last time.
When you come in this realm, you come through water, and that's the sea of forgetfulness. They talk about it. This is why I say the Bible does have a lot of truth in it. When it talks about the sea
Quick
of
Trip Gas just said,
right?
The shout out. Yo,
that is creeping me out.
Quick Trip Gas, the gas station you was just talking about, is in the chat, bro. They said thank you for the shout out.
Yeah, for sure. Quick Trip, my dog.
Yeah, that just creeped me out. This AI is something else.
That's crazy. You know AI listening. Yeah. You know AI listening. But So when I saw him, we embraced, and then he just walked out the store. He just turned and walked like you ain't like we like, bro. You just died like in his. I had to understand when he saw me, he just seeing me like, oh, you a soul on this side. I'll see you later. He don't know I'm coming back into my. Well, he do know because you know all things, but when he see me, he's seeing me as a soul on that side. Yeah. So he's like, I'll see you later.
Time don't really matter.
Yeah, time don't exist on that side. There is no time.
It's like, I'll see you in a minute, bro.
All things are happening at the same time. Past, present, future, all happening right now. And so he walked out the store, and I just walked around the store. I saw people in there, and I was looking at stuff, and then I woke up. But like most of my experiences haven't been super long, so I'm hoping that happens where I have one where it's like all night and I have this great revelation.
You can control it. So when you're out of your body, you can just command. Like sometimes when you're out of your body, right? Sometimes it seems like your consciousness is fading out. Other times you'll just be there and be back in your body.
Yeah.
But if you ever feel like if you're ever in that moment where everything goes black, just command to go back.
Yeah,
be like, no, I'm coming back to my body. I'm coming back. I want to go back.
Okay,
to wherever you were. Command to go back, and you'll be back.
So that's funny that you said the darkness, because that's what I experienced when I went to the halls of Amenti. So when I woke up, when my eyes opened, I was in my dad's house, or a house that looked like my dad. It was some distortion, so it was a little different, and it just went pitch black. Like when I say lights out, I'm talking about it faded, and it was just pitch black, and I was like, if that's what the void is, I don't know, because I knew it was a space, but you couldn't see anything. So in that moment, I had a little bout of fear. I'm not even gonna hold you, because that was like the second time I've ever come out of my body. And that's when we was in that group, and that was the target to go to the halls of Amenti.
Oh yeah. So the only you was there. Yeah, you was like, it felt like the lights was off.
Oh yeah, exactly. So I was like, I'm in the void. Where the hell am I at? I got scared. So I said, take me to the halls of Amenti. Take me. I said it 3 times, and then the next time I opened my eyes, I was in the halls, and I was looking around like, what the fuck? Like it was like Roman hall, like old Roman thing with pillars and white marble floors and books on podiums everywhere. So it's books everywhere, and they was open, some closed. And I walked up to one, and it opened, the pages started flip, and there was a handwritten letter written in a language I had no idea what it was. Now, obviously, the longer I stay there, the more I come into the remembrance, and I know. But I'd only been there for a little bit, so I'm looking at the letter, and I'm like, it's a handwritten letter in cursive, but it's in a language I have no idea what that language is. It didn't look like anything I'd ever seen before. It may not even been in a language.
Information came to you?
Huh?
Did the information come to you?
No.
Oh,
I just
okay.
looked at it, and then I kind of looked around a little bit more, and I said, okay. And then I turned and looked over my shoulder, and I could see myself in the dark distance sleeping on my couch.
Wow.
And so I literally could see, it's like all dark, and in the distance, I could see myself sleeping on the couch. And I looked, and I was like zoomed in, like that to my body, and then I woke up. So I was like, oh, shit. I saw myself sleeping on the couch. And that was the night that Darius drew that diagram of my place.
Oh, yeah. So what Corey's talking about, guys, this is around the time we've all met. This has been like a year in the making. We all met about a year ago. We all met about a year ago in one of the work groups that Darius was having. He went through a period of time where he was having work groups. And in this work group, the first one, me, Bam, and Corey, we were all in there because we have had experiences at that point. And we were setting targets. And that was one of the targets when Corey made it to the halls of Amenti successfully. So yeah.
So a great segue though, because that's exactly how we met. We was in a group. It was a big group. Then it got to a little bit smaller group, but it was still a group. And we were just giving these targets. And I didn't. And again, I want to be very clear. I'm not gonna sit there. I don't lie about what I did and did. My experiences. So it was some stuff I couldn't even target, and maybe I wasn't on the frequency to get to that place at that time, because I know when they did Antarctica, I couldn't get to Antarctica.
But the fact that it's in your mind and that it's possible, now you can begin to align yourself with that frequency. And I
don't want to go to Antarctica. Like what they
now it's like, why would you want to go?
I'm good on that. I don't need to see all that.
I've been down there. I've been down there.
I'm good on that, Playboy. I don't need to see all that. You know what I'm saying? It's certain stuff I don't even want to disturb my reality with. Like, it's cool. They got that going on. That's their business. I'm cool. Some stuff, the stuff I'm trying to access, like now I don't even have as many experiences now because I don't try as much anymore because I want to make sure that I'm enjoying my experience while I'm here. Like with my family, and I don't want to get so far gone that I don't want to be here with them, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like you get to a point, if you going constantly, and maybe that was just me, but it got to a point where I was like, man, if somebody asked me to stay on this side, I might stay. Like I literally seen it. No, dead ass. And I wasn't even laughing or joking. I said,
yo, bro.
It scared me. It scared me because I got a little one. I got a 5-year-old.
But you like, yo, for real? For real, if somebody want to ask me to stay up here, bro, I'm
bro, like I'm serious. Like I was like, yo, am I getting so far gone that like, because at that time I done had like 4 or 5 experiences. So I'm like, bro, if I get to a point where they were like, you could stay here, would I come back? Would I stay? Like, shit, I don't know. Like, and I know it's a conscious decision, but it ain't one you gotta make at that time. So now we just thinking of it in hypotheticals. But I was like, man, I don't even want them to ask me that because I ain't gonna lie, low key, this place sucks, bro. Like, it's like I'm here. Let me tell you something. I just keep it a whole bean because I ain't scared of death or none of that scares me.
It's all an illusion.
The beauty of what we're doing is it eliminates fear from your life. Fear of how much money you make, fear of not having this, fear of, death, fear of everything. For me, that's what it did for me. I don't have fear. If I died tomorrow, it's not going to be, I'm not going to be like, I can't believe this happened to me. I'm okay.
Yeah. Let me touch on that a little bit because I now have a perspective based on all the experiences and memories that I've recovered and remembered about myself. When I think of me, I don't think of Andre that was born 32 years ago. I think of the eternal aspect of me, like the whole, like when I think now, I consciously have all of these past memories all the time. So like, I'm just this expansive being, and I see. So when you mention you don't fear death at all, I don't either because I remember before I was Andre. You know what I mean? Before all of these things, just like all of us can. It changes your whole perspective for sure. For sure.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, the times I've traveled, it definitely made me realize that I'm more than just this life. But I kind of like, I like aspects of this experience. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I love my children. I coach football. I like do stuff in the community. I enjoy doing that. It's just certain parts of this experience suck. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you know, we're the Andrea and I've been having this ongoing conversation, because there's two sides to every coin, right? And we're here, we're here, and then and you cannot minimize this part of the experience, because you are here, you pick to be here, and there is so much that not only you are going to attain from this experience, because as we already told you, this is not home.
Right.
We're here visiting, right? We're here visiting, and the goal is to make it home. So why? So that when you make this place home, you can enjoy your work. You enjoy what you came here to do, and what you came here to do is probably not having a channel like us, or trading like Corey does. Whatever it is, that we all have a specific life path that we picked, and a lot, at the beginning on my channel, a lot of people were like frustrated because they couldn't exit the body, and I got to a lot of them out of doing one-on-ones and a personal level, and they wanted to experience the out of body because they weren't enjoying Earth.
And that's why they couldn't experience.
You have to be present. You definitely have to be present and enjoy, and being, like Corey said, he had to be in a high vibrational state to achieve this.
Correct.
Like Bam saying, we are here. So if you're doing this that's kind of like going out of integrity or having malintentions in a way, because you're doing it not out of the goodness of your heart, but you're doing it to escape something. So you have to transition your reasoning for it. Like if you just are trying to achieve it just to seek, just to know the truth, but to still be here and to embody that here, you're going to have a lot easier time exiting your body.
So it's funny you brought that up, because I actually asked Darius about that, because I really was like, man, listen, I don't want to get too far gone where I don't want to be here. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, well, that's not going to happen, because
you
have a purpose.
Correct.
And there are people on the other side counting on you to fulfill your purpose here.
Correct.
He told me that. And when he told me that, I said, oh, shit, bet. Well, I'm good. I'm okay with that. Like, he said, it's people that you're going to let down if you don't complete your mission here.
What's the purpose, guys? What's the purpose?
To wake up everybody.
That's why I always say, that's why, and there's another part to that too, why you will want to come back, because your soul is the overarching almighty you, and your soul is the one that chose to come here and be Corey. Your soul is the one that chose here to become Bam. I chose to come here to become Andre. So once you return back to that eternal aspect of you, that overall knowing doesn't change. So you will still want to come back.
And you'll still, and the thing is, you will know. And it's funny because I know y'all know when Darius talked about that, he said when he went there, and the greatest pain he felt was when he was shown that he didn't complete his work. And that was the great pain that he felt. And it was a physical pain. And I was like, shit, I don't want that. So I'm cool with it. Like, I'm cool. If it's going to be that, then I'm cool with coming back.
And that's why I always say, when you get out, guys, and a lot of my YouTube videos, I say, find out who you are. Find out why you came here.
Get to the records.
And do it.
Get to the
and
records.
Do it. Find out who you are. Find out why you came here, because we all made the conscious decision to come here. Find that out and then do it. That is the number one thing that you can do.
That's it.
All this knowledge that we get is great, but that is the key.
That's the key.
Yeah, I want to add to that too, right? So, because there's a question here, how do you find what your purpose is, right? That's not a hard thing at all.
At all.
Because that is a product of the present. So your purpose will not, the grand look, I've been to places where, I almost died the other day. Just so you know, I was laying down and I felt myself going. Awake. I wasn't exiting my body. I felt, and it happened to me a couple times. Since I'm perfectly healthy, but it's something more spiritual because it always teaches me something. Like I felt that. I said, damn, like I'm not done. Like for a second, I'm like, I'm like, no, I still have stuff to do.
Yeah.
And then I relax into it and everything passed. But your purpose is to right now enjoy unconditional love. And again, that sounds like very like surfacey. No.
Yeah.
What unconditional love allows you to do is to be accepting not only of everybody else around you, but about accepting you, because identity is what the name of the game is. Unconditional love,
right,
is you can't change it. I can't change. No one can change that's the source. That's what holds it all together. But your identity, who you are, is what the soul is. It's what makes decisions for what it is to do. So your purpose is discovering you, who you truly are. What makes you tick.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems with people is that they're looking for purpose in a grandiose way. They need something big to be a purpose.
Yeah.
No, your purpose could be simply being a good mother to your children and leaving a good experience for them. Your purpose could be something as simple as us doing this podcast. Like, again, my purpose is to tell everybody about my experiences so that people can start saying, hey, I want to have some experiences too. The more people that wake up, the more this realm one changes.
Yeah.
Like, so if you want the change to happen, people got to understand that none of this is real. It's not even real. It's not. This is a video game. We are in a video game right now.
Corey, bro, I call this the game of life. And right now, everybody here watching, you guys are watching 3 people that beat the game of life. And let me tell you why. Because realm 1, like we said, we step into here in water. All of our memories are wiped. And realm 1, coming into realm 1 can be compared to as coming into darkness, right? So when you come into darkness and you forget who you are, an infinite being, an infinite soul, and of unconditional love, and you get so far away from who you truly are, that's realm 1. Now, when you can come to a place like that in complete forgetfulness and still find your way back to the light, still find your way back to remembering, still find your way back to remembering who you are, unconditional love, and embodying that here, that's how you beat the game of life.
Can I tell you, the only thing that's stopping most people from beating the game is fear.
Yep.
They worried about, am I going to die if I do an OBE? Am I going to see a being? Because these are all the things that I have fear with. So this is why I'm not saying this in judgment. I'm saying this from a place of experience. Those were the things I was fearful of when I first started this. My thing was the fear wasn't as important as the knowledge. I wanted the information. I wanted the truth. And that to me was more important.
What do you want more?
So if we're looking at the scales, the fear is light compared to the thirst for knowledge and wanting to have
the desire to know.
So if you can remove the fear, then you can get an opportunity to go to that side and remember. And then once you start remembering, and now you know who you are, and it goes back to what Bam was saying about identity. Now you know you're an eternal soul. You know you're an eternal being. You know you cannot be killed, put in hell, destroyed. You know that can't happen. Now you can live your life on earth in a way more fuller sense because you're not walking around in fear of what's going to happen to you when you die.
Yeah.
Right.
I always say, I wish the Bible would have started out with that, like telling us, like, if we had the knowing that we were all all these almighty beings. It's a lot easier to live your life in such a peaceful,
giving man. The Bible can't tell you that because the Bible is a copy of a copy of a copy, and it's just some shit some people wrote.
It got hijacked. It got
hijacked, and in the shit that they copying off of got hijacked from some older stories. So
look at King James. King James used to but his previous publications were on demonology and witchcraft. So
King James was what? He was a king. What's a king's job? A king's job is to control people.
To control. Exactly. So then once you put that in perspective, then think of the Bible itself. The God of the Bible, all the God of the Bible do is control people
and kill,
and that's it. I had this argument with my dad. I said, "Tell me this: how many people has the devil killed?" And he was sitting there like, And I said, "How many people has God killed?" And he was like, "He ain't killed nobody." I said, "He wiped the whole earth clean." What you mean he ain't killed nobody? What you mean he ain't killed nobody? He killed everybody, but supposedly everybody but 8 people.
But Noah and his people.
Noah and his family. That's it. So,
and saying that,
you understand that these stories aren't really verbatim. These are stories of beings that were here.
It's they're to teach. They're to teach. For you to get to gain.
You're really just supposed to get the spiritual stuff out of them and then move on.
Correct.
Another thing is that goes to show how strong perspective is, because, like you just said, God wiped the whole earth clean, but we have the perspective, oh, God is good. The devil's never killed nobody, but we're taught to fear that, right?
Yeah.
So that's how
perspective. But it's all fear, though, bro. You notice that?
Yeah, it's all
fear. You
gotta
fear the devil and you gotta fear God. You got everything about religion in any of them. And I ain't just picking on Christianity. I talk about Christianity because that's the one that I was associated with. But Israelites, they fear the same hell Christians fear. But their thing is, we got to follow all these rules and laws and all this stuff. Wait a minute. The supreme creator of all things, who is made of pure unconditional love, needs to control you? Needs to have you do these sets of things in order to receive eternal life like that? It didn't make sense before I had my first OB, but after that, it was like, man, get out of here.
So what one of the biggest things that helped me was awareness. Becoming aware and judging everything by my own experience, right? Because it's easier to sit there and follow what everyone else is doing, but what the soul wants, and that's why some of us got to this path. All of us got to this path by questioning, like, there's more. There's got to be more. So we really have to. You don't have to take what we're telling you on face value, because we're telling you can experience it for yourself.
I'm telling you not to take it on face value. I'm telling you,
I think we all say the same thing.
Scrape up your money, pay that $200 and learn the method. And then you can see for yourself.
And get out and get out of become an empowered soul.
Yourself, make a podcast about it. Do whatever you feel you need to do. After that, I don't care. What I care about is you coming into the truth. Like learning what it really is, because if you learn it now while we still experiencing this realm, the realm becomes better.
Yes,
we all gonna learn it anyway. You gonna die and learn the truth. It don't matter whether you
remember, because you already know you'll remember the truth.
Well, you gonna remember the truth. All remembrance will become like the longer you stay on that side, it's gonna just flood. It's gonna flood in. And this is not just something I got from Darius. This is what all those 30 NDE videos I watched, all of them had the same thing in common. You go to a life review, you start remembering more, and all this stuff. This is what started me on the path. I watched those NDE videos looking for inconsistencies, and I couldn't find them. I couldn't find them. They all did the same thing.
Me too, bro.
So if everybody can't be lying, everybody can't be lying. If 20, 30 people saying the same thing, all of them can't be lying. So
if it's not just Darius saying this now, Bam saying it, I'm saying it, you're saying it. There's tons of testimonials saying it.
Oh, bro, so many people doing this now. And listen, and I was talking to Andre, I was talking to you about this. Y'all know, maybe some people in the comments, y'all know who Joey Badass is. He's a rapper.
Yeah, you're telling me that. You're telling me that. Yeah.
Yep.
He was talking about doing it. He calls it remote viewing, but
Or
and you can
astral
call it whatever you want. I
projection, or
don't care. It doesn't really matter. The title of it doesn't matter. But he was talking about how he able to come outside of his body.
And he talks about sleep paralysis.
He said those words.
Yeah.
Put myself in sleep paralysis. I come out and then I just travel the universe. And so when you start hearing people that are mainstream people or people that are known to groups of people talking about this, that only means it's going to get more and more and more. It's going to get more and more and more. And the crazy thing about it is, it doesn't matter about the evil people in this world. They can't stop that. They can't stop us from leaving our body. No. They can't stop it. There's nothing they can do to stop this movement that's coming. And it's coming. Like, I don't even trip about people not wanting to do it, because it's going to be a common thing once we get enough 100,000 people all doing this practice. The world is about to change.
All right, so let me put y'all on game. So in realm 3, this is what we were doing, right? Like it leaving our body was so common. It was like you take a nap, you leave your body, right? Now the last 3 nights, I was just telling Bam this before the call. I was able to leave without practicing the method. Just by simply setting my intention, I fall asleep Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. Just falling asleep. I set the intention. 5-10 minutes. I'm in a deep sleep. I feel myself in sleep paralysis. I'm out. So it's now not even a matter of me trying. It's just happening. All the time. And
so you opened up an ability. You've opened up an ability. Because now you don't
but we all can get to that.
Yeah, oh no, everybody can.
If I can, everybody can.
But this is what going over there does. It starts to open up these dormant abilities. I said earlier in this conversation that I didn't want to say that's the first time I ever left my body, because I've done that before. And I did a video on that where I was taken outside of the construct. So I'm thinking this is a dream. So I don't know about OBEs, but it was the most realistic dream I've ever had, to the point where I could feel the texture of the carpet I was walking on. Like, that's the reality. But at that time I was, 20 something years old. I didn't even know what was happening. Right. I didn't put myself in sleep paralysis. I just woke up. I was in this Victorian style old office, and there were like half domes everywhere, all over the office. Big ones, little ones, small ones, like real small ones, super big. And then there was one big one sitting in the floor, and it was the one we're in now. And then I started looking at all the other different domes, and they all had different worlds in them, different universes in them, and all this different stuff. And I was looking at them, I was like, oh shit, that's cool. And all I was saying in my head was, oh, that's cool, that's cool. And then I seen the one that was on the floor, and it reminded me of the Bible verse where it says the earth is God's footstool, because it looked like a footstool. So I looked into it, and I could see Africa and Asia, and the planets lined up like a flat earth map. And I was like, oh shit, that's cool. And I had that conversation. And Darius, when he did my latest video, he kind of did a compilation of all my different experiences. He said in that video that I probably was in my own personal workshop where viewing constructs that I personally worked on. And I was like, damn, that's dope. Because you think about it, on the other side, you create instantly. You want a world where you live on the beach and you don't do nothing but sip drinks and hang out with women. You can create that world.
Do that.
You can do that. Yeah. If you want to create a world where you're just in a library and you read books all day, you can do that. There are not even millions. There are innumerable amounts of constructs.
Infinite.
So this construct with all its 12 levels ain't even the only one. Ain't even one of 100 or one of 1,000 or one of 1,000,000. It's infinite, because we have been creating eternally. So there is no beginning to us. There is no end to us. We just exist. And all we exist to do is create. That's it. That's it. And so once you find that out, like I said, this happened when I was 20s. And I had that vision. And in my head, I'm like, this is a dream. It's, whatever. But when I say it was so real, I felt the texture on the carpet. And I still remember what it felt like. And so I was like, oh shit. So I was talking to him about that before I made that video. He's like, oh yeah, you was having an OBE. He said
Yeah,
you
so
probably.
let me ask you,
that's what
in that space that you were in, you seen a whole bunch of constructs, right?
Yeah.
Or they were on shelves, and one big one was in the middle.
It was some on shelves. It was some on a desk. It was some on the floor. They was everywhere, bro. There wasn't there was no rhyme or reason.
Did the room seem infinite, or was it like a closed room?
It was a closed room. But
okay.
So this is what I'm gonna tell you. It was a closed room, but it felt like there was a hallway attached to it. And I don't want to lie and say I know there was. But it felt like
I've been in a similar room. That's why I asked you that. I've been in a similar room.
Like it was a hallway. If I would have walked through a door, I would have went down a hallway.
Like you just knew there was more out there.
Yeah, I knew it was some more. I knew it was a door. Yeah. It was a door behind the desk. And I said, oh, and I just knew that if I would have went in that door, it would have took me down the hallway. I just didn't. I stayed because it was cool, like what I was seeing. I was like, shit, what the fuck? Where am I at? Like, that's the first thing that hit me. Like, where the hell am I? Like, I'm looking around and I'm seeing all these little domes everywhere, and I'm like, oh shit.
If you leave your body again, go back there. Try to go back to that space.
Yes.
Bro, there's rooms with construct, there's halls with constructs, it's crazy.
And so that's why I said, when I told Darius that, he said that's probably just the room that you built your constructs in.
Yourself. Like, yeah, that's your creation.
Like, I got whole constructs that I built by myself. Thanks.
Yeah.
I want to answer Christina because Corey talked about meeting his friend and on a heavenly realm. I met my uncle in the heavenly realm. So Christina, just know, right, that when you exit, because you exit every night, but when you remember, if you need to connect to these people, they'll be there to greet you. They'll be there to greet you. Andre met his mom multiple times, right, Andre? So we can all relate to. And one of her questions is like, how do you feel when you come back since you left him? Me, honestly, my uncle still alive, but he's got dementia, so he's a lot on both realms. But when I met him, he wasn't. He's one of the few people on earth that gave me unconditional love, and that's why I met him, because he had to teach me about something about unconditional love and how we don't use that power enough on earth. So yeah, I felt when I came back, I felt sadness. Like when I felt when he hit me with that love, I fell on my couch so hard and I was watered. But the next feeling was actually sadness, because I said, damn, I'm not gonna see my Tío again, because I'm here and he's in Puerto Rico. I'm gonna see him in July if we make it to July. But yeah, you're definitely gonna still feel human, human stuff. Like you're gonna miss him,
I woke up and I had tears running down my face, and I wasn't even conscious. I'm back in my conscious body, and physical tears is running down my face. Yeah. And I was like, what was that? Like, I literally was like, oh shit, wipe my face. And because I wasn't, when I was with him on that side, I wasn't sad at all.
No.
But it was like when I came back here, it was just overwhelming feeling of, I miss my friend.
Yep.
Will I get to see him again? Do I need to go back so I can go holler at him some more? Like, now I need to go access my mom and talk to her. Like,
all these thoughts come into your head. Yeah,
all these thoughts come in, and it's like, damn. Like, and so when I say I'm fearful, and I'm just being honest. So like, I don't believe in trying to say the right stuff. I'm gonna say what it is for me, and people feel differently. I don't know, but this is why I was like, yeah, I need to relax. I need to back up a little bit, because those feelings make you want to be over there. Yeah. Like, I'm just be real. There are nights where I'm like, yeah, I want to be on that side. Like, yeah. This is where I want to go home.
And you know what? I appreciate that honesty, because I was just telling Andre before we went in the before we went live, I was telling I've been having a hard time, and the thing is
we all do, man.
But that's the beauty of this place.
Yeah.
Friction.
The yin and the yang. Yep.
That energy management, you don't get it anywhere else, people.
So you're right.
So here, everything will pass. So if you're feeling a really high, that moment shall pass. If you're feeling really low,
that moment
shall pass.
Well, that's what.
So cruise. So stay cruising. Don't get too.
When you look at a frequency, a line of frequency, it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and for eternity. Our souls are lit. Everything we see, smell, hear, touch in this realm, outside it, it's all made out of energy. Everything. It's all just energy. I've seen the energy. I've seen it.
Yeah.
When you look at, I've stared at stuff and see the blue, white, the blue, red speckles in the wall. That's energy. You seeing the code.
Yeah.
You can see the code.
Yeah.
And it used to be a time I couldn't see the code. But since I started doing this, now when I meditate,
you can see it in real life. Yeah.
When I meditate in the morning,
them red and blue freckles outside. That you said,
I meditate outside on my balcony, rain, sleet, or snow. I meditate outside on my balcony, whether I got to put on a code or whatever. But when I open my eyes for my meditation, I can see the code, the sky, the code of the sky.
That's crazy. Thank you for saying that, because like when I'm at the beach, when I'm connecting, like I see it. Like
you
it's
can
like,
see it.
You see it. It looks like sparkly.
I know it's like little, and people like, oh, that's like the little. No, not like the little thing you can hit in the head and look. No,
it's energy. It's
the color code. I'm looking at the wall right now. It's white wall. I can see the speckles of red, blue.
Yeah,
I can see all the colors in it.
But I think we're gonna soon come to a close here, and we wanna do some questions. But
let's do that.
Before we right, Andre
and Corey, we're gonna have to have you on. We're gonna have to have you on again for sure.
Yeah, we'll do that
for sure, bro. Because
whenever y'all want me,
it's just like when the three of us get together, man. The conversations just flow. And I want to hear more about your story and what you've come to uncover in your travels.
Yeah. Hey, listen, because let's get the Q&A so people can get their money's worth. Because I know they got questions like they pay. But no, like anytime y'all want me to come in and talk about this stuff, listen, this is what I'm being quite honest with y'all. That's the only reason I'm still here. Like I'm telling y'all, it's not nothing else was keeping me here other than the fact that I get to talk to people about this. If I didn't have people to talk to about what I've been experiencing, if I got offered to stay on the other side, I know I wouldn't come back. I know I would.
Yeah.
So this is the reason I'm here. The reason I'm coming back is for stuff like this. So whenever y'all want to have me, let me know. Like, bruh. And if I have the more experiences I start having, I'll have new experiences to talk about.
It's never ending. Never ending.
Because I told Darius this, and I remember we had a conversation. I told him in my first interview, the first one I did with him, when I told him about going outside, I said, man, I'm gonna be doing this for the rest of my life. I'm gonna be trying to access the other side for the rest of my life. However long that is, I'm going to spend some time out of that year trying to access the other side once a week, twice a week, whatever, every day if I feel inclined to. But this is something that once you've experienced once, it's like, how do I go back to being asleep after I've been woken up? Like, how do I go back to sleep?
It's impossible.
I don't want to go back to sleep. So.
Yeah, you can't.
It's impossible. It's impossible because those are the most vivid memories that you carry with you through this experience.
I don't even remember stuff in my real life more than I remember these experiences.
Because what happened is this, right? When we change the present, we're altering also the past. Like I have friends of mine that trying to tell me about things that I'm like, they come put because in your experience you change your past.
I'm not even the same person.
You're not the same person. That's a bottom line. I'm not even
the same person in this realm. Like
correct.
It's people that won't even know me when they see me because of how much my soul has changed. Because now it's remembering things from the other side. It don't have fear. It doesn't. I'm not bound by fear and all these other things. So
awesome.
That's how it is. But hit me with the question.
All right, guys. So at this time, can we please keep the chat to questions only? And for the time being, can we keep these questions directed towards Corey? And then you will see how it goes, and then maybe we can open it up to everybody. But for the time being, if you guys have any questions for Corey based on his experiences, his insights, he has a wealth of knowledge. So shoot.
I wouldn't say a wealth. I got some knowledge. I'm still poor.
Yeah, the more you know, the more you realize you have a lot to learn.
Yeah, once I've been doing this for like 5 years, then I feel like Darius has a wealth of knowledge. I just got I got a teacup of knowledge. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're remembering. We're all remembering.
Yeah.
And that's a great, and you know what? That's a great place to be, because when you think you know it all, you're not humble.
Oh yeah,
and we're here to learn. So,
and it's crazy because you'll never know it all until you get over there for good. So
correct.
You know, you only getting what you can get, because ultimately the agreement was for you to come. We low key kind of cheating the system, because we're not supposed to be able to remember. That's the purpose of coming here, to forget, so that you can have an honest experience. Think about it. If you knew everything on the other side and came here, you wouldn't be having an honest experience. And
I agree.
Wouldn't even stay. They just
I agree.
And go back.
I agree to a degree, but we needed to cheat the system.
Yeah.
Because...
Oh no. It had to be. So when I say cheat the system, the cheat code was built into the game.
Correct.
Like if y'all ever, I'm old school, so I used to play Contra back in the day, and Nintendo.
Yeah.
So down, left, right, B-A-B.
Andre's too young for that.
To get the 30 men, right? So you got a cheat code built in the game. Well, we have a cheat code built into the game. And so
yes, leaving your body is the cheat code. You can leave the game and see the whole code.
You can see the whole thing from the outside, and then you can come back to the game and be like, oh, now I know how to play it better. I know how to not be a dick. I know how to not be an asshole. I know how to
teaching people how to leave their out of body state is like teaching people the rules to the game of life.
Yeah.
And
giving them the cheat code so they can see it for themselves. Like that's it.
We got a question.
Go ahead.
We got a question from Chloe. She said, Corey, how would you please would you please talk in detail about life on the other side? How do we spend all of our time, and how do we find our loved ones?
Okay, so I'll address the first part. Far as on the other side, I've never been in an experience where I was around a bunch of different souls, so I don't know that part. So I'm only going to speak to what I know. As far as how you spend your time, remove that word. There is no time. So you don't spend time, because there is no time. You just experience, create, hop from creation to creation, and do what you want to do. You do whatever you want to do on the other side. That's it. There's nothing. There are no barriers. There's nothing that can stop you from experiencing whatever you want. Only thing that the barrier that can stop you is if you want to harm another soul. You cannot do that. You can't harm another soul. You can't lie to another soul. You can't do anything negative to another soul.
That's not even a concept.
That's not even it ain't even an option. So that's the only barrier. If there is one, that would be it. But outside of that, you don't spend time, because there is no time. You exist in all time. So if you want, you can say, hey, I want to go to the past and see something I did 1,000 years ago. And you can go to the records and see that life in real time, like see it on a screen and see that life and see and experience it and walk into it and experience all past life. If you want to go to the future, you can, because there is no past, present, and future. It's all happening at the same time. And then the other part of our question was what? What was the second part?
That's it. You answer them both.
Okay.
Cool. Meeting your loved ones. Like how you get to meet.
That's real simple. Now, for me, I set the intention to see my friend that night. As I was putting myself in sleep paralysis, that was what I set my intention to do: see my friend or see my mom. I was cool with either one, and that's who appeared to me. But if you on the other side and you want to see somebody, you just simply command to see that person, and they will come to you.
Yeah, based on availability, like you said. You set the intention to see your mom or your friend, and your friend showed up.
Yeah.
So
and it could have been my mom didn't show up because my mom is back here. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Or anything. Yeah.
She could be back here. But again, she's not. my mother is without limits. So even if she's in a parallel universe, galaxies away, she can still be here and be there too. Like there is no, if she's in soul form, she has no limits. So she can be wherever she at, and she can be with me too. Like that's what omnipresence is. And so you're omnipresent. You can be wherever you want to be. You can be in multiple places at the same time because you're not bound by a physical form.
And I think that that's also an aspect of who we are truly. You know, like though we feel like we're fully 100% here, that's not the truth neither. Because she's asking about, you know, what do you do? My experience when there's other parts of me, like I'm a cook here. And in one of my experiences, I'm entering this kitchen out there, and there's a huge what do you call that? A garden full of beautiful fruit, and even some that I don't recognize. So, you know, there are aspects of you right now that are doing whatever, like Corey said, whatever you want to do at that time.
Because you got to remember too, like we touched on this earlier. When you sleep, your soul isn't sleep. Your soul ain't sleep because you sleep.
Yeah,
your soul doesn't
consciousness
need sleep.
never sleeps.
Your consciousness doesn't need sleep. Don't need to eat. It don't need to do none of that stuff. So that's for this realm. That's for the physical. That don't have nothing to do with the soul. So when you sleep, your soul could have a whole nother life that it's experiencing while you're sleeping.
Look, and thank you for saying that. Because I wanted to bring this up, and I was waiting for the right moment, right? And when you say your soul don't eat, I just want all of our you know, our audience to understand that. And we had a guest in the past that talked about that. But no, whatever situation you find yourself in, know that the soul can override. I mean, you know, I got my kids right here, my 4 and my 5-year-old. They don't experience pain for long because they heal each other. My kids, they literally go and tell each other, like, no, come here, I heal you. When one is talking about, so regardless of what you experience in this coming time, know that your intent to sustain your life, to bring joy to your life and your experience, to change your whole world is doable, is possible. So really hone down on your abilities now, like really get set on you know, transmuting your energy field.
Your soul's frequency can overpower anything here.
Anything, right? even here.
Yeah. So Corey, you there? I got a good question for you if you're there. Not sure. Okay, we'll wait till he comes back, and maybe his phone died or something. But yeah, to touch on what Bam was saying, guys, you know, your soul, nothing is more powerful than the will of your soul. You know, bottom line, you can create whatever you want. I see Nico ask if you're homeless, can you will yourself out of that? Yes, you can. We are creator beings, and we can create ourselves anywhere. All right, Corey's back.
Yeah,
what's up, bro?
So my wife called me. My wife called me while I'm sitting here doing this because I'm doing it on my phone. And so when she called me and I hung up on her, I just hit X. So don't call me. I'm busy.
It's all right.
But yeah, so then it cut off. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What was the question?
It's all good. Welcome back. Yeah. So Christina asked, I think this is a good one. Corey, which protocol works for you? She just signed up for the ADA method and wondering what works better for people.
So the normal one, so simply going through putting yourself in sleep paralysis. I use the headphones. I use the binary beats that he provides for us. And the biggest thing I can tell you is you probably want to go to bed early, like 9:30 to give yourself, or 8 o'clock to give yourself time to put yourself in sleep paralysis. My best experience has been from that. And I'm be honest, sleep somewhere else away from somebody else. Like most of my experiences happened when I slept on the couch, because when somebody in the bed next to you, they could move or snore or whatever. And if you ain't quite yet gone under and you hearing stuff, and say the sound goes off, and you've been an hour and sound goes off, but you ain't quite ready to come out yet, and you start hearing something there, it can kind of take you off your focus, and then now you're not able to achieve. So usually when I do it, I sleep in my couch. And I'll tell my wife, like, hey, tonight I'm going to go travel. So I'm going to try to travel. So I'm going to be on the couch.
Good advice. Good advice.
Also,
Good
when
advice.
you don't, just to expand on that, sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that time,
try it.
Just relax. Well, and there's many ways. That's what works for Corey.
So let me tell you too, Bam, to add to that, usually I'll try at night, but I'll set an alarm clock for 3 a.m. so that if I don't succeed, I fall asleep or whatever, I'm gonna wake up at 3 a.m. and then try again that time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Natalie Montero asked, Corey, can you share a little bit about your personal evolution in the training process until you got to succeed leaving your body? Like, what did you learn by trying repeatedly, and how did you manage to adjust to finally achieve the out of body state?
Well, the first thing I learned is that I was full of fear and full of preconceived belief systems, and that was kind of hindering me from achieving. So fear, you're not gonna be doing it if you're in fear. I'm just be honest, because it feels like you're dying. The last one I had was the one where I was in my house, and my soul floated up out of my body, and I'm looking at the ceiling as my soul floating up, and I look down, and I'm looking at my feet float to the edge of the couch, and then I stand up. If you have fear, you're gonna wake your ass up if you experience something like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. it felt crazy. I'm not even gonna say it. That shit felt crazy.
I swear to God, and to touch on that, so fear is a big thing, guys, because when I say I left my body Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, easy. Now it's not easy. Like I'm still in sleep paralysis.
You still gotta do stuff.
I'm still in sleep paralysis, and I still have to be calm, because in sleep paralysis, you're not moving. I'm in that in-between state when your body's leaving. So if you have fear, because at that point, the veil is gone, so you can sense things in the room around you. You know, you really have to be like, yo, fuck it, I'm in it.
Oh, no, bro.
Doing.
So
like,
I'll go ahead and touch on that last piece. I won't go into too much detail, but that was the one where I had the most active. Bro, it's stuff walking around my house that I'm unconscious of all the time. And I mean a lot of stuff. It's a lot of beings in this house. And I got guardians for my children, watching over my children. I got one watching over my wife. I saw this. So I floated to the edge of the bed and stood up and walked and looked over at myself, sleep on the couch, and walked down the hallway. And a being walked in my front door and walked in front of me like I don't live here.
Like it's not even your house.
Like it paid rent. And so it walked in front of me and went in my room. So I just followed it back. It's a shadow. It's a dark being. It didn't even have a rope. It was just a shadow. And it walked past me, and I wasn't in fear. If I was in fear, that would have woke me up, because he walked past me, he or she, whatever, walked into the room, stood over my wife, and was just standing over my wife. I went up to it and tapped it on the shoulder, like, bro, who are you? And why are you in my house? Like, that's because again, when you first come out, it ain't you come out, you automatically on the other side, and I know what I'm doing. I haven't been doing it long enough. So when I come
it's
out,
like you still Corey.
I'm still Corey on this side. So I'm like, motherfucker, who are you? And why are you in my house? Like, what you doing? And then I'm not scared. So I walked up to it, tapped on the shoulder, it turned around, and it was just a shadow. And it just standing there, looked at me. I looked at it, and I walked out the room. I was like, okay, cool. Then I went in my son's room, and it was a being in his room. It was like a little short dude, and he had a bald head. And I don't know who this person is, but clearly we know each other on the other side, because we just started laughing with each other and like having this dialogue without words and just kind of like laughing and enjoy each other's presence. I walked out of my room and walked in my daughter's room, and it was a being standing there. Well, I didn't walk in her room. I walked past and I looked, and it was a being standing over her. And then I went back and I woke up. So like the biggest key, I'm gonna tell you, that was part of my journey, is eliminating the fear. And once I eliminated the fear, now I don't think about being, if it's a being when I come out of my body, okay, what's up, boss? Like,
and we
can't hurt you. So
we talk about that. We talk about that in every interview, every podcast. You know, because fear, the problem is not fear. The problem is you letting it stop you. You know, you can't be courageous without having to face that. So part of being here is also that, knowing that, hey, I'm a supreme soul and I can't, and look, all they could do, anything that's around, because they're like Corey said, this place is full of souls. There's a celebration coming and everybody's meeting here. So there's a lot of other beings that are in our space. You got souls
watching over you.
Yes. And all, if they want to scare you, that's all they can do. They can't touch you. They can't
the thing
take
is,
you anywhere.
So this is the thing. Most of these beings aren't scary. They're scary in your natural mind because you've been programmed to be scared of things that are dark, that look ugly, or look like a monster or whatever. A lot of these beings are some of the kindest, sweetest beings. They just inhabiting a existence in that, like, this is my role in the construct. When they leave here, they are soul just like you. And once I understood, once them 4 Lyrans came to my face and I said move, and they moved, that's when the fear was like, oh, okay, well, bet, like, y'all ain't nothing here can harm me unless I believe that to be so. And I don't believe that to be so. And when I set my intentions at night, I say that nothing can harm me. Nothing.
And that's why, and that's another thing, guys. That's why a lot of people say, oh, they want to hear about the dark stuff and all of that. I don't speak on that because I want to drill through your head that nothing can hurt or harm you, because as long as that is your belief and that you truly believe that, nothing will. Nothing. And
I'll be honest with you, Andre, I don't know nothing about no dark stuff, because
me neither.
I don't participate in darkness, so I don't care.
Me neither.
Nothing, if it can't scare me, it ain't dark. So I don't know nothing that's dark, because none of this stuff scares me anymore. Now, it would have been dark to me the first time I did it, or when I was trying to do it and I wasn't succeeding, because at that point I had that fear. But once you've seen it and you're like, oh, okay, man, I'll be honest with you. The first time I was mesmerized, the first 2-3 times I was mesmerized. After that, it was like matter of fact, like, okay, I'm coming out of my body. I'm gonna walk around. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna set my intention to do what I'm gonna do. Like that night when I came out of my body, the only thing that was scary was that I was levitating and I couldn't control it. My body wanted to bring my soul back in, but that's that little tether.
That I talk about all the time. When you're floating out.
My body was like, hey,
you felt that
here. But my soul was like, nah, I'm out. And it just it floated up. So it was kind of weird because I wasn't in control. I wasn't in physical control. I was in soul control. So I'm in a whole different mode. And I'm not realizing that yet because I'm still hazed between the reality and this.
Yeah. And with that, when you're practicing, it helps to talk to your body too. Mm-hmm. Tell your body that everything's okay.
Calm down.
You're coming back to it. You know?
And can I tell you what I used to tell him? I used to tell him what Darius said. I'd be like, hey, I'm okay with dying tonight.
That too.
I'm okay. Yeah. If the night my last night, I'm okay. You ain't going to die. It just feels like you are. But you got to put in your head that it's not you okay if it did happen, even though you know it's not. And that kind of set me loose too. So
I've done that. I've done that as well too. That's another good point. That's another good point. Kim C asked, Corey, how often do you have OBEs?
So I'll be honest, I don't have them regularly enough. I've had 6 total. 7 if you count the one I had back when I was 21, when I was taken outside the construct. But and I've been practicing for about a year now, and so I've had 6, but I don't do it every night. Like I said, it's been like the last month and a half I've been consciously not doing it, so I could just enjoy the experience, be with my family, not be, because it also takes a toll, because we was talking about this, Andre, when you go to the other side, you bringing back information, downloading information
years
into your physical form, millennia of information into your physical form, and you can fry out your circuits. I've had that happen. So you wake up, now you tired, you can't do shit for a whole first part of your morning. You're like, damn, I'm tired as hell. But that's because
I come back electric though. I come back like, oh, I know that.
Oh no, listen,
but
drink my salt water and get it popping. But like, I brought a terabyte worth of information into an iPhone. That's not enough. Quick. So I just started this past weekend doing it again, like starting to try to put myself in sleep paralysis again. I wanted to take a little break from it. I knew something told me, it's like, hey, just take a little break from it. Like I said, I didn't want to get too far gone to the point where if somebody asked me, I would say, I'm staying on this side. Because right now I don't want that to happen. And
I think that speaks volumes to how grand one OBE is. I always say one OBE can change your life. It will. And now, and in these 6 or 7 experiences that you've had, your whole perspective on life changes. You're talking like we're in a game, like a lot of information that you would have never known.
What we're experiencing right now, the YouTube we on, the phone I'm using to do it, none of this shit is real. None of
They're all tools. They're all tools.
It's all a manifestation of our creation.
Manifestation,
that's it.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah, and they have their purpose. They have their purpose.
And we're here to experience it, and then we'll go home, and that's it. And then, and some of us won't go home. So again, being part of the group, Darius shares certain stuff with us, and one letter he shared with us, it says some of us won't see death before the end of the construct. And so,
we can stay in these physical bodies when everything opens up.
When that happens, some of us will be here. Yeah. Some of us will transition and see the end of the construct from the other side and be part of the celebration from the other side.
I'm cool with either one at this point.
Listen, I don't care. Cool I'm like, whatever. Like, but because I can be whatever, because I just don't have fear. I ain't worried either way. Yeah. If I don't wake up tomorrow, I ain't like, dang, I wish I would have woke up tomorrow. I'm good. Like, I'm good either way. Like, you're good. And listen, this is the thing that I came to understand about. And so I know people in the thing are like, dang, that sounds morbid. That's not, you won't miss your family. Time don't exist. So the time when I get on that side, my family will probably already be there because ain't no past, present, and future. You see what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
Even the people, even the people in your life are part of that which you created. You know what I mean? It's all you wouldn't be around them if y'all didn't create this together.
Right. It's all part, we all agreed to come here and be part of each other's lives.
Correct.
I've known you guys on the other side for millennia, maybe.
I
might have known y'all for 100 times we done been down here. And y'all played a different role in my life the last time I was here or the time before that. Everybody you meet and you interact with, you already knew you was going to interact with before you were ever born.
I was just going to say that because it's not even just your family. It's like when I connected with Bam, instantly we knew. When I connected with you, Corey, instantly we knew.
We all connected to Source. Unconditional love, which is the energy that permeates all things. God is people. If people need a creator God, cool. It's called love, unconditional love. And we are all little fragments of that. So it's little love wires coming all down to us.
Tentacles.
So each soul is a piece of that love wire. So we all connected to the grand source. So we know each other. We know all things. I'll give you a prime example. Y'all seen that movie Sinners? Y'all haven't seen that movie Sinners yet?
I haven't seen it yet. I don't watch media and stuff. No. I do want to watch that. I do want to watch that.
Because you've experienced OBE, you're going to understand the vampires. That's all I'm going to say. Go watch it. You'll understand what the vampires. But one of the part of the vampires is once they turn one person into a vampire, that all the vampires have access to all the memories of all the other vampires. So they're all connected. So
it's like that. It's like
it's the same thing on the other side. I know you can't lie to me on the other side because I know your memories. I know what you've done. All things. You can't lie to me. Andre, you can't tell me like, nah, that's some bullshit. Da, 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 da. Nah, bro, I seen it. I know what you did. You can't hide nothing. There's nothing to be hidden. Everybody knows everything because we all connected to the same source. So I ain't worried about my family like that because when I get back over there, ain't no time. They're there. Their soul is there. Yeah. Like it ain't. I'm not waiting for them to see me. The only waiting is the people that's here. We waiting. Like the physical flesh is waiting. The soul ain't waiting. The soul is without time. So once you understand that, it's just different.
Yeah, that's very well said.
And listen, very well said. I get too animated about this stuff, but I love this shit. Like when I say,
I do too. I do too, bro.
I love. Like when I say, I talk about this shit on my Twitter, and people probably be like, "This dude crazy." And I'm like, I don't care. This shit is the best because I know the truth. I don't have nobody can lie to me. And that's, listen, the worst thing, the two things I hate the worst in the world in this reality is liars and thieves. So now I've eliminated one because you can't lie to me. You can't lie to me. I know already.
I know the truth. Truth. Yeah.
You can't lie to me. You can't tell me no religious shit, but you can't say, well, this is spirituality. You got to eat this way or do it. Shut up. Nah. I don't have to do none of that. I do what I want to do. I'm a soul. I'm an individual. I am the Godhead of my own soul. Nobody can tell me anything what to do.
So it can be said is you are now an uncontrollable soul.
An uncontrollable soul existing in unconditional love, which is why I say I don't judge nobody. If you are a child molester, you're going to pay for what you're doing here. And when you die, you're going to have to experience everything you did to every child you did. But it ain't my portion to judge you. Because guess what? 2-3 lives ago, maybe that was me. This is the problem with humanity as it stands now. Everybody think they good. Everybody think they was a good person. Oh, they the bad people over there. This the bad guy over there. Nah, you was the bad guy in one of them lifetimes. I don't deal with racism. People be like, oh, black people, white people. Bro, you was the slave owner in one lifetime. You was the slave owner. You was whipping the dude's back.
Let me touch on this because I'm doing a video about the true history of this place because I've been uncovering a couple things.
Yeah.
I don't even know if slavery happened like it happened in America because I ain't even see that. We was already here.
It did.
We was already here.
This is why I say when you get to the other side and you start talking to these beings and they start telling you the truths of the history of this place, you will start understanding, bro, this place ain't even as old as they trying to tell us it is.
That's what I'm getting into, bro. That's what I'm getting into.
Millions of years old. This place is thousands of years old. The whole construct ain't even that old.
I'm getting into
it's one of the newer ones. This is one of the newer constructs.
And this is the newest realm. This is the newest realm.
It's the newest realm of one of the newer constructs. Like
that's awesome.
So when you understand this stuff, all this stuff starts to melt away. I don't care about racism or black or white. Those are all controls. When them Anunnaki beings came here and engineered Adam and Eve and all that other shit that they told you was in Genesis, when they engineered us, they engineered some different color people. Why? To keep you divided. To keep you divided on that. And now we're going to set a structure in place where you hate this person. We're going to tell this story where you enslaved this person. And now they're going to hate you forever.
Now we're going to divide them.
Now we're
going to keep that separation.
We like this, we can't get to the other side to get that remembrance. We can't get that remembrance because we dealing outside of love and integrity. So once you understand that piece, man, all this stuff melt away, bro. Like where the slave ships at? Where they at? If millions and millions of Africans was brought here, where the slave ships at, bro? Y'all didn't keep none of them. You destroyed them all. Like, come on, bro. If the earth is a globe, like y'all say it is, so what y'all telling me is we spinning around the sun and the sun's spinning around something else and something else spinning around something, and it's all traveling through a vacuum in space, but none of us can feel none of that shit? Come on, bro. Stop. We spinning it up.
How are we not again like the gravitron? Remember the gravitron?
But nobody can feel nothing.
Yeah, nah.
We spinning 100 miles per hour and water just stick in its spot. Like,
and we just
water
standing
always
here.
finds its level.
like
Yeah.
water always finds its level. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, again, am I crazy for believing that the earth ain't round? Okay, cool. I don't care. This is the problem. Most people care what people think about them.
Yeah,
And because they care about what people think about them, they can't truly be free. I am a free man talking. I don't care about nobody think about me because I've already seen the other side. So you can't tell me nothing because I already know it. And I'm learned, and I don't even know all of it. Like, the more I learn, the more you ain't gonna be able to tell me. And so it's like, bro, just so I live in a bubble.
Yeah.
This is my own little personal experience bubble, and y'all part of it, the audience part of it, my family part of it, but it's all my experience. This is my experience. And when it's over, I'm gonna leave and go have some other experiences. I got one in mind that I want to do. I ain't gonna, I'm gonna keep it to myself.
I love that.
But when I leave here for good, I got one good experience I want to do. But with that being said, all you guys can do the same thing. And I just want to make sure I emphasize that I'm not special. And I know I speak for myself, but I also can speak for Andre and Bam. We tell you, we're not special humans. We're not superhuman. We came across this and we decided
a year ago,
to not let fear stop us. And that's
a year and a half ago, we weren't leaving our bodies.
Nah.
You know, so we just found this path.
Just found a path.
Yeah. So
and it's such an easy path because once, like I said, all you're doing is just trying to find the real truth. And once you find it, it's like, okay, bet. No.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I think I gotta go. I got my kids out there waiting for a minute.
I know my wife like, why you didn't answer the phone?
Yeah, it's been like we definitely have to do this again, guys. This was amazing. For sure. I know you have a video coming out. Andre is coming out soon, right? Did you?
Oh yeah. So we're getting into promotion stuff. Yeah. So I am working on a video. I briefly touched on it. The next video I'll be releasing will be describing the timeline, our true history. So it's not his story. It's going to be our story, the true story. Awesome. And it's going to start with what I've uncovered. I accessed this through the halls of a mentee, actually. I'm only going to present what I know to be 100% true, starting with the Great Flood. And that will be times 0. That is what we consider 0. And it will go up until present day.
Cool.
So yeah,
cool. Hey man,
that should be released.
Is that gonna be live or is that gonna be a video?
Nah, that's gonna be a video. It's gonna be dropping this weekend. I'll be recording it like tomorrow or Friday. It'll drop this weekend.
In your comment section, so just never because that's the stuff I'm about. I want to know the time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna start getting into that stuff more. Yeah, so
for sure.
Are you putting something out, Corey, where people can find you?
I haven't. Okay, so yes and no. I want to make sure I'm very careful about putting stuff out that's what I believe versus what I've experienced, right? Yeah. So like when Andre putting out something he's seen in the halls, that's what needs to be out. So I don't want to put something out that I haven't experienced. So right now, my whole sole focus is to have more experiences. And the more experience I have, the more stuff I'll put out. So like tonight, I'm going to try. And then all this week, I said I'm going to commit to the rest of this weekend through the weekend to have experiences. So it may be a video coming out Monday. You have to subscribe to the channel and see. But
what's your channel's name so that people can go find you and
Soul
subscribe?
Traveler
777
or I think it's Soul Traveler
777.
777. Yes. So
no, he don't even know. He don't even care. Bro, that's what I'm talking
about. I don't know nothing about Twitter. I'm an old head. I don't even do none of this stuff. Like awesome. I did this specifically for the purpose of documenting my experiences so other people can see them. But Soul Traveler 777. Yeah.
This channel and the reason why we're growing at the rate we are is because of the mission and the people that we have in the channel is so that we continue to spread the mission, the great work. So, that goes to show we all regular people and we promote our stuff because we want to spread the word. So with that being said,
but hold on, before you leave, let me say one last thing. I want to give you guys your flowers, bro, because listen, it takes real courage to come on here and do what y'all doing, like straight up. Like it's plenty of people having experiences and they ain't doing nothing to just spread the
thank
message.
you for that.
So I want to give
especially
you guys
being a black man in America, coming out talking about you leaving your body. It's like, oh,
and
crazy,
so
this
is the thing. So let me tell you, I'm gonna correct you there. I don't even look at myself as a black man. I don't even look at myself as being in America. I'm a soul. I'm just a soul.
Yeah.
And so you guys are souls, and y'all doing real work. Y'all doing the work. Y'all doing the great work. And so
thank you.
I know Darius, if he remote viewing from where he at right now, if he's in OB state, he probably watching this and saying, hey, good stuff. But I want to give you guys your flowers. And again, thank you for having me on. And I look very much forward to doing this again, for real.
Awesome.
Thank you for that,
we're gonna have a great time. Thank you so much. I love this conversation had phenomenal energy. I got a video also coming out at 8:00. Y'all can check it out
tonight.
Tonight. It's the third part on the manifestation series. The first video was manifesting, second video was affirmations, and now we're working on visualization. And but yeah, stay tuned. We have an in-body state guest, right? And the
next
experience
June 8th. Sherry's going to be our next guest. She's going to be talking about the in-body experience, where she actually created an entire universe within, and a lot of the stuff that she's uncovered from going within lines up with everything that the three of us have seen out of our body. So she will be our next guest. Yeah, she will be our next guest. That will be June 8th. And I actually did an interview with her a few weeks ago. So you guys can get familiar with her. She's her channel's new as well. You guys can check her out.
Did it come out yet? Did your interview on her channel came out?
Yeah, it came out. It's posted in my Telegram group. I think I made a post on it on YouTube. You guys can find that.
Also, speaking of Telegram, my group is out. So the link is going to be on the video that comes out tonight. So go ahead and join the conversation. It's going to be in the description for this video coming out.
We'll put it. So Bam started his own Telegram group. I have one as well. From now on, they'll both be in the descriptions. Join them, join the conversations. That's great.
Thank you.
People in my group were like, "Bam, when are you going to start yours?"
I know. So they motivated me, and there's nothing, like Corey says, there's nothing that I enjoy. Like there's no other conversation in my life. I don't have friends that I go beat down with and play, but none of that. All I want to do is to continue to remember and remind you. So that's the reason we do this. I can already make money off of YouTube. I can already monetize. Not making a penny out of it. I don't care. I go work hard, and I'm receiving a book that will come out when I publish it. But it's not about that. We are spreading a very important message for humanity, which is you are in charge of calling the shots. Make sure that the shots that you call are beneficial for everyone around.
Yeah. And thank you, Corey, very much. You were a great guest. And guys, I just want to say
thank you, sir.
The energy in this was a lot of fun and very high, because all three of us are very excited talking about this stuff. But I also don't want to lose focus that this is very serious stuff, right? And the key things that why we do this, what we want you to take away is for you to know that you are an eternal soul. You are the ultimate creator of your reality, and you are in control always. And everything that we talked about today in this podcast, you guys have the ability to experience for yourselves. It is life-changing, and it's unconditional love. It's bliss. It's if you can think of what heaven is in the Bible, how the Bible depicts heaven, that's the other side, right? And there's a specific realm just like that. But this stuff is very powerful, and it is life-changing. And I highly encourage all of you guys to get out there and try it. I started offering one-on-ones. You guys can find that in my Telegram, where I try to help aid people out of the body. Darius, the Ada Method. I highly suggest you guys going to his website, checking him out. That man is amazing. He has wealth of knowledge. I have a year doing this. Bam has a year. Corey has a year. That man has over a decade.
Yep.
So his knowledge and understanding of these topics is extraordinary. So I highly suggest you guys checking out his website.
And I did a 5-part series too for those that can't afford it right now. Start with that. It's just a compliment to what he's teaching. It's out there, just there is resources, that don't, I read in the comments, some people frustrated because no, look, you do it every time. Now remember. All right. And so Corey, man, thank you so much for your time. Corey.
Thank you for this conversation, bro.
Thank you, man.
You were a great guest, man. We had to reel it back in for the brothers one time, and I'm happy you came in, man.
Yes, sir. Sure. Yes, sir. Anytime, brother.
And we'll have you back soon for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Y'all have a good one, man. Enjoy your families. Happy traveling.
Safe travels, Corey. You enjoy your family. All right, Bam. You got any last words before we close out?
No, thank you, everybody. Good night. Go check out that video. It's coming out at 8.
And always remember, you are not just in the game. You are the one controlling it. I'm the Alchemist, and I'll see you on the other side.